Chapter 1224. Feng Zhangxia was speechless. She didn't know what to say to Hu Chunhua. Now that she had asked someone to cook a simple meal, how good could it be? Other people would definitely not be satisfied after eating it. Zhao Xinhui had received so much money as a wedding gift. Although 2 taels of silver was a little too much, it wasn't like they couldn't spend it. Seeing that Feng Zhangxia was hesitating, Hu Chunhua urged her. I say, eldest son's wife, why are you still in a daze? Hurry up and go. Feng Zhangxia's mouth twitched and she smiled embarrassedly. I know, mother. I'll go now. At this moment, Zhao Baoshan walked over and started to interrogate her about what had happened. Feng Zhangxia told Zhao Baoshan everything. When Zhao Baoshan heard this, he quickly reprimanded Hu Chunhua. I say, you old woman, seriously. 2 taels of silver is fine. If you ask old lady Mo to cook it, how good can it be? Our old Zhao family is going to be disgraced, and that's because of you. Hu Chunhua pursed her lips. Old man, why don't you scold that Yin'er girl? That cheap girl is asking for too much, but I don't see you saying anything. You're so stubborn. She has no obligation to cook a banquet for us. Since you've already invited her, treat her like a good chef. The most important thing is to make our old Zhao family's banquet a good one. Make it grand. Zhao Baoshan was the most prideful person. So in Zhao Baoshan's opinion, as long as the banquet was grand, it didn't matter if they paid more. Besides, no matter how much money they paid, it wasn't for anyone else, but for Zhao Yin'er. Then all right. Then give Yin'er 2 taels of silver. Ask her to cook the banquet. Hu Chunhua said this, but her heart was bleeding. 2 taels of silver. If it was used to buy meat, who knew how much it could buy? Hu Chunhua went to Zhao Yin'er's kitchen with a displeased expression and said to Zhao Yin'er. I say, Yin'er girl, I'll give you 2 taels of silver. Hurry up and help me, otherwise everyone will be anxious later. After Hu Chunhua finished speaking, Zhao Yin'er still didn't move and had no intention to help cook. Hu Chunhua's brows immediately knitted together and asked Zhao Yin'er. Yin'er girl, why aren't you talking to me? What do you mean? Didn't I say I'll give you 2 taels of silver? Is that still not? Zhao Yin'er's hands paused and she curled her lips and said with a smile that wasn't a smile. Grandmother, I said 2 taels of silver would be enough, but now it's not enough. You have to give me 3 taels of silver. When Hu Chunhua heard this, her eyes widened as if they were on fire. What? Zhao Yin'er, you wretched girl, you're still asking for an exorbitant price. 3 taels of silver? I say, why don't you just rob me? Zhao Yin'er replied coldly, Grandmother, I already said that I won't force you. If you don't want to, then you can leave. You, 3 taels, not a single copper less. Otherwise, hurry up and leave. You. Hu Chunhua was almost angered to death by Zhao Yin'er. This wretched girl, she was too much. She could make him so angry that he was fuming. Mother, we have to do 3 taels of silver. Feng Zhangxia pulled the money and hurriedly continued to say to Hu Chunhua, Ai, my mother, when did our old Zhao family have such a black-hearted girl? Chapter 1225. Glancing at Hu Chunhua's distressed look, Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but curl her lips and sneer in her heart. Now that she had added 1 tael of silver, Hu Chunhua had no choice but to agree. How comfortable. Finally, the 3rd branch got back double the money that was cheated out of them. Since that's the case, I'll go over. Zhao Yin'er put down the spatula in her hand and handed it to Hu Chunhua. She still pretended to be obedient and said this. Liang Jinxiao smiled helplessly. Yin'er, this girl, had so many wicked ideas in her head that she didn't know what to say. Hu Chunhua glared at Zhao Yin'er hatefully and could only swallow the blood in her heart into her stomach. After today's banquet, she would have a chance to settle accounts with Zhao Yin'er. Zhao Yin'er hurried to old Zhao's kitchen and then got busy. Old Zhao's family had prepared a lot of ingredients. There were all kinds of things including chicken, duck, fish, and everything. This time, Hu Chunhua was so generous because she wanted to make Zhao Xinhui proud, and at the same time, she wanted to make the Zhao family proud. Because there were all kinds of ingredients, all the dishes were cut and ready. Zhao Yin'er got busy quite quickly. It didn't take long for the banquet to begin. After Zhao Yin'er left the kitchen, Zhao Ping went to Liang Jinxiao and discussed with Liang Jinxiao about borrowing money. because she had promised Zhao Ping'er before. Liang Jinxiao didn't want to go back on her words, so she agreed and waited for Zhao Ping'er to bring the money to her before she went home. When the banquet started in old Zhao's family, Zhao Ping'er couldn't hold back and asked Liang Jinxiao, "Mother, can I eat at the table too? The food at this banquet is really too fragrant." As Zhao Ping'er said this, she licked the corner of her mouth, looking very greedy. "Ping'er girl, our family's father is at the table, but you can't sit at the table." Liang Jinxiao looked at Zhao Ping'er awkwardly. "But mother, I really want to eat at the table. The smell of the food is too tempting. I haven't had a good meal in a long time. Can I eat at the table?" Zhao Ping'er looked at Liang Jinxiao pleadingly. Liang Jinxiao sighed. Looking at Zhao Ping'er's thin face and chubby face, Liang Jinxiao's heart really ached. After this daughter married into the family Qin family, she didn't have a good life. When she went back to her parents' home, if there was anything good to eat, he would naturally think of her first. "This, Ping'er, it's not that I don't want you to eat, but there's no other way. You have to discuss this with your father." Liang Jinxiao comforted Zhao Ping'er. Zhao Ping'er pursed her lips and said, "Okay, then I'll talk to father later." "Okay. But mother, I think I should be able to sit at the table. Father can also sit at the table." Zhao Ping'er thought for a moment and said to Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao looked at Zhao Ping'er curiously and asked, "Ping'er girl, why? Why do you say that?" Zhao Ping'er said somewhat righteously, "Mother, the wedding dress that little aunt is wearing was borrowed by me. She didn't give me any benefits. Can't I eat at the banquet?" After Zhao Ping'er finished speaking, Liang Jinxiao felt that it was very reasonable. "Ping'er, what you said makes some sense. Mother, it makes sense. If Grandpa and Grandma don't give it to me, then I'll go and make a scene. Let others be the judge." Chapter 12:26. Zhao Ping'er responded perfunctorily, I know, mother." After that, Zhao Ping'er ran out, ready to talk to Hu Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan. After seeing Hu Chunhua's dark face, Zhao Ping'er knew that it was useless to talk to Hu Chunhua. So she ran to Zhao Baoshan and asked Zhao Baoshan, "Master, can I eat at the table?" Zhao Baoshan was slightly stunned. "Ping'er, what do you want to eat at the table?" "Master, I borrowed Aunt's wedding gown. My wedding gown contributed a lot to Aunt's grand wedding. I didn't ask for anything else. Can't I have a meal at the table?" After Zhao Ping'er finished speaking, Zhao Baoshan was slightly stunned. He felt that Zhao Ping'er made sense. So be it. What could one more person eat? Thus he nodded and replied, "That's fine. Little Ping'er, just pick a table and sit down." "Okay, master." Zhao Ping'er answered happily. Fortunately, there were enough tables for the banquet prepared by old Zhao's family. Zhao Ping'er quickly found a table and sat down. The table that Zhao Ping'er sat at was for women. There were 2 people on each side, and many of them had children behind them. After seeing this, Zhao Ping'er frowned. When it came to snatching food to eat, women were the best at it. Furthermore, she had so many children with her. So what was there to eat? After thinking about it, Zhao Ping'er felt that she couldn't sit down like this. Instead, she quickly moved away from the table and saw a man sitting at the table beside her. It wasn't full, and there was an empty seat left. She quickly jumped down from the table in front of her and walked towards the empty seat. After Zhao Ping'er sat down at the man's table, the man at the table cast a weird look at Zhao Ping'er and asked, "Girl Ping'er, what are you doing here?" "Exactly. What are you doing here? Isn't the table for women next to it?" "That's right, Ping'er girl, you're the only girl at this table. What are you doing here? Hurry up and go to the next table." One by one, the men tried to persuade Zhao Ping'er to leave. After all, Zhao Ping'er was a woman, and it was inconvenient for the men to eat and drink together. It would be fine if there weren't any seats at the side, but there were still seats at the side. Zhao Ping'er didn't need to sit with them at all. Zhao Ping'er wasn't willing to leave, and she hesitated for a while. The men at this table were definitely not as aggressive as the women. If he sat at this table and ate, it would definitely be good. Therefore, Zhao Ping'er was absolutely unwilling to leave and fight with a bunch of women and children for food. "Why can't I sit here? I'm not bothering you guys. Why can't I sit here? I want to sit here," Zhao Ping'er said angrily. At the table, when the man saw Zhao Ping'er like this, he felt helpless. This girl was too insensible, wasn't she? This was the first time he saw someone like this. Ping'er girl, no. I'm not saying that you're a hindrance, but we're all men. It's good to sit together and drink. Why are you interfering? Zhao Ping'er replied unhappily. You guys. I'm not bothering you. Chapter 12:27. You lass, why are you so unreasonable and sensible? That's right, she's not being sensible, she's being thick-skinned. Which family's young lady is like her? Hurry up and leave. You don't mind being a hindrance, but we do. Hurry up. Ping'er lass, it's not that we want to criticize you, but that's the truth. Hurry up and leave. No matter what these men said, Zhao Ping'er acted as if it had nothing to do with her, as if she didn't feel anything at all. In the end, the men at the table were at their wits' end. They had already said their piece, but Zhao Ping'er still refused to leave. What could they do? They couldn't possibly chase Zhao Ping'er away, right? Looking at Zhao Ping'er's attitude, they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to chase her away even if they wanted to. After so many years, they had seen many things at banquets, but this was the first time they had seen something like this. They couldn't understand how there could be such a person like Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping'er's shamelessness made the men at the table very worried, and they didn't know what to do. Zhao Ping'er couldn't continue to refuse to leave. After thinking for a while, they finally said, Ping'er lass, look, what do you think I should do to make you leave? Nothing. I just want to sit and eat with you all. Do we have to leave? Zhao Ping'er's mouth twitched as she spoke. It's not that I can't, but it's really inconvenient. At this moment, Zhao Baoshan walked over. Knowing the situation, he lectured Zhao Ping'er. I say, Ping'er lass, how can you be like this? Hurry up and get up, where's your manners? Zhao Baoshan's face was gloomy, and he looked quite terrifying. Master, if you don't listen to me, you won't be able to eat at the banquet. Zhao Baoshan threatened her. Zhao Ping'er reluctantly got up, but she was afraid that Zhao Baoshan really wouldn't let her eat, so she could only say, Master, all right then. After dawdling, she got up and moved to the table next to a group of women. Naturally, these women had also seen what had happened just now. They couldn't help but stare at Zhao Ping'er a few times, thinking that Zhao Ping'er was really a weirdo. It was the first time they saw a woman insist on squeezing into a group of men. She really shameless. After Zhao Ping'er sat back down, a mocking voice rang out. TSK. Old Zhao's granddaughter is really interesting. That's right, there are so many weirdos this year. How can there be such a shameless person? You've seen it today. If you ask me, how can old Zhao's family let such a granddaughter eat at the table? Isn't this embarrassing for old Zhao's family? She's really shameless. What can she do? Haha, she's already been disliked by men, but she still eagerly went up to them. If you ask me, she just lacks men. She can't control herself when she sees men. There's a table full of men, so she eagerly went up to them. In the past, when she wasn't married, it made sense. After all, she thought that men were rare things. But now that she's married, she doesn't have a man. Don't you already have a man? Why are you still like this? Maybe her man isn't good enough, or he doesn't treat her well. All right, stop talking. The dishes are about to be served. Let's quickly prepare to eat. All right. The whispers of these women still reached Zhao Ping'er's ears. Zhao Ping'er's brows furrowed together. She wished she could punch someone. Chapter 12:28. Have you guys said enough? If you continue, then don't eat. Hurry up and get lost. Zhao Ping'er said angrily. After saying that, the women at the table objected even more. Ping'er girl, you don't even let others talk about what you did. We didn't say anything wrong. That's right. Besides, we sent money over as gifts. Why do you want us to get lost? If you want to talk about getting lost, shouldn't you be the one getting lost? What kind of family hosts a banquet, and the girls at home eat at the table? This is the first time I've seen it. Ping'er girl, since you dislike us, then hurry up and leave. Don't hang around in front of us. Don't come here and eat with us. The women all looked at Zhao Ping'er with disgust, as if they couldn't stand Zhao Ping'er's behavior just now. Although Zhao Ping'er was thick-skinned, she didn't want these women to talk about her like that. I won't leave. I'll sit on the chair and eat. What's wrong with that? Zhao Ping replied angrily. After that, she ignored these women and sat on the table without moving. After a while, the banquet started, and dishes were served on the table. Zhao Ping quickly went up. The first dish was a few cold dishes. Zhao Ping didn't have much interest in them. After all, she could eat at home on a daily basis, so Zhao Ping didn't touch her chopsticks. She saved her stomach for better meat dishes later. However, the other women who were waiting were already hungry. When they saw the dishes being served, their stomachs rumbled. As long as it was a dish, they would eat it immediately. They didn't care if it was a cold dish or something else, as long as it was delicious. Zhao Yin'er's culinary skills were not bad. Even if it was a small cold dish, it still tasted very good. Of course, the people at the banquet ate happily. Another reason was that no matter how bad the cold dishes were, they were still better than what they usually ate at home. She saw that the cold dishes on the table had been snatched up by the woman and the child. The plates were clean, and there was only a little soup left. When Zhao Ping saw this, she couldn't help but snort coldly in her heart. She felt that this group of women was too scary. They were like hungry ghosts. This was not even considered good food. If they ate good food, wouldn't these people fight together and snatch to eat? Zhao Ping couldn't help but mutter, "Reincarnated hungry ghosts. What bad luck, eating with these people." She glanced at the table where the man was eating. There were still a lot of cold dishes left. After the cold dish was finished, the other dishes were served quickly as well. A plate of stir-fried pork with garlic moss, a plate of steamed pork with powder, and a plate of scrambled eggs with garlic were served. In the eyes of the villagers, these dishes were good stuff. When they saw that the dishes were about to be served, they immediately picked up their chopsticks and prepared to pick them up. As soon as Zhao Ping smelled the fragrance of the food, she immediately knew that it was good food. She hurriedly picked up her chopsticks, afraid that she would fall behind those women and not be able to eat. Don't push, don't fight. Zhao Ping originally wanted to go up, but found that her fighting strength was simply too weak compared to those women. In front of these people, she couldn't raise any strength at all, and was directly squeezed to the back. When the steamed pork with powder was served, before Zhao Ping had time to move her chopsticks, the meat on top had been picked up, leaving only a few pieces of taro at the bottom and steamed together. Chapter 12:29. After the plate of steamed pork with rice flour was snatched, the plate was empty, leaving only a little bit of powder. Zhao Ping could only smell the steamed pork with rice flour, but she couldn't eat it at all. Instead, the women and children at the side began to eat with relish. When Zhao Ping saw this, she was furious. Wasn't this too much? These people, how were they humans? They were simply bandits. She hadn't even eaten it yet. They had snatched everything clean. The most excessive thing was that there was already a small amount of steamed pork with rice flour. Not a single person could get a little, but some people snatched 2 or 3 pieces, occupying the share of others. Zhao Ping angrily glanced at the people who snatched the meat. She couldn't wait to go up and fight with them. However, Zhao Ping wasn't too stupid. She knew that she couldn't make too much of a fuss, otherwise, she would be scolded again. Zhao Ping controlled her temper and sat down, continuing to wait for the next dish. To Zhao Ping's disappointment, the next dish was still snatched by those women. Zhao Ping thought that she could snatch it this time with all her effort, but she still overestimated her strength. Compared to those women, her body obviously didn't have any strength. Those women lifted their big butts, and Zhao Ping was directly sent flying. When those people squeezed into a group, Zhao Ping wanted to squeeze in, but it was already too late. The dishes in the bowl were once again swept clean. Zhao Ping was furious. If she continued to eat like this, all the good dishes would be finished. How could there be a chance for her? She knew that it was impossible to eat with these women. She couldn't even eat a little bit. Looking at the women and children at the table eating nonstop, Zhao Ping felt even hungrier. Aren't you too much? How can you let others eat? Zhao Ping angrily knocked on the table and said to the women at the table. These women continued to eat, completely ignoring Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping's brows were tightly knitted together. Are you all deaf? Why didn't he reply? Really? At this time, a woman on the table felt her ears hurt from Zhao Ping'er's voice. She said to Zhao Ping'er, "You little girl, what are you talking about? It's not like I don't want you to eat it." Zhao Ping'er glanced at them coldly. "You guys are already fighting over the food. What can I eat? That's your business. We all ate it but you didn't. Who can you blame? You've gone too far." Zhao Ping'er said angrily. She didn't know how to refute these people. Zhao Ping'er's face was gloomy. "Okay, you people, since you treat me like this, don't blame me for doing something to you later." The women at the table naturally didn't care. What could a Zhao Ping'er do? Could she turn the sky upside down? Besides, they only had the mind to eat at this time. How could they have the mind to think about other things? It had to be said that Zhao Yin'er's cooking was really good. Even if they had eaten the steamed pork with rice flour before, it was more delicious than other people's. The steamed pork with rice flour that Zhao Yin'er made was mixed with fat. The texture of the meat was just right, and it tasted exceptionally fragrant. In one bite, it was not greasy, but it had the taste of oil. It was very delicious. Chapter 12:30. The taro was not just a simple taro. It was imbued with the aroma of meat and oil. It tasted even better than ordinary taro. The most important thing was that it was soft and smooth. After taking a bite, he wanted to take another bite. He couldn't wait to eat more. It's delicious. Don't say. Old Zhao's banquets were not bad both times. That's right. After eating so many banquets, I love to eat this family's food. They sent 20 to 30 copper coins as gifts and ate such a big table of good food. It's really worth it. If it wasn't worth it, we wouldn't have sent so many people. Unlike some families who are stingy and prepare so few dishes. The taste is not good, and we can't taste what a banquet should have. I heard that these 2 banquets were prepared by the second daughter of the third branch. I heard about it too. That second daughter of the third branch is really capable. The dishes she makes are even better than the chef's. Yes. It's so fragrant. It's really better than the chef's. Sigh, why are they all from the same branch? The eldest daughter of the third branch is so different. As the few women were discussing, their gazes fell on Zhao Ping'er. They looked at Zhao Ping'er and shook their heads. If they were to praise Zhao Yin'er, then they were full of disdain for Zhao Ping'er. It was no wonder that this eldest daughter had not been married for so long. It was a miracle that she was able to get married. Not only was there a problem with Zhao Ping'er's appearance, even Zhao Ping'er's character was the same. She was not likable at all. To put it more seriously, she was hated by everyone. Even in her in-laws' family she was still hated. Sigh, don't talk about it. The dragon has 9 sons. There's still a big difference. Ping'er and Yin'er are completely different. Sigh, marrying Yin'er is a blessing. Marrying Ping'er, tsk, forget it. Zhao Ping'er was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Not only did he snatch her vegetables, but he also didn't get a single cent. Now he was even scolding him and comparing him to Zhao Ping'er. Seeing that Zhao Ping'er was about to flip out, another dish was served. Only then did the women shut their mouths and stop talking. This time, it wasn't any other dish, but a meat slice soup. As soon as it was served, the aroma of meat wafted into his nose. Smells good. This is the meat slice soup. Another good dish. Hurry up and get ready to eat. That's right. Hurry up and finish the food in your bowl. It's delicious this way. How could Zhao Ping'er give these women a chance? Seeing Zhao Tianhu coming over with a plate, she hurriedly said to Zhao Tianhu, "Second cousin, come on, give me the broth. I'll bring it to the table." Zhao Tianhu didn't think much of it. He walked to Zhao Ping'er and handed the broth to Zhao Ping'er. "Come on, little sister Ping'er, be careful of the soup." Zhao Ping'er answered happily, "Okay, I know. I'll be careful." With that, Zhao Ping'er reached out and picked up the broth. After Zhao Ping'er picked it up, she directly placed the broth in front of her and didn't put it in the middle of the table. The women on the table were slightly stunned. Just as they were about to scoop the broth from the bowl with a spoon, they were stopped by Zhao Ping'er. Chapter 12:31. I say, Ping'er, what can we do? Of course we eat. A woman said directly. Instead, She looked at Zhao Ping, strangely with a hint of reprimand in her tone. Logically speaking, shouldn't Zhao Ping be the one who received the food and placed it on the table? Why was it placed in front of her now? Why was she completely ignoring everyone else? What was the meaning of this? The corner of Zhao Ping's mouth twitched. She said somewhat righteously, "What else do you want to eat? Just now, all of the dishes were snatched away by you. I didn't even get to eat a single one. So this meat soup can only be eaten by me. Don't even think about eating it." Hearing Zhao Ping's words, the few women at the dining table were instantly angered. What Zhao Ping snatched was the meat soup. Just looking at it made them salivate. How could they let Zhao Ping eat it for free? After glancing at the meat soup, they said to Zhao Ping, "Ping, how can you be like this? You eat a bowl of it alone? We can't even have a mouthful of soup? Don't even think about it." That's right, that's right. How can this be? Exactly, this is the first time I've seen this. She can't not let us eat it. We can't let her eat it alone. That's right. Just now, it wasn't us who didn't let her eat it. It was her who couldn't eat it. After these people finished speaking, they didn't waste any more time talking to Zhao Ping. They directly picked up their chopsticks and started to pick up meat into their bowls. Zhao Ping instantly panicked. She was afraid that her meat soup would be snatched away. "You're not allowed to snatch it. You're not allowed to snatch it. This is for me alone." After shouting a few times, Zhao Ping realized that her words were useless. These people were still like robbers, picking up their spoons and poking into the meat soup in front of her. In her desperation, Zhao Ping spat a few mouthfuls of saliva into the soup. She wanted to know, after spitting, would they still eat? Just as Zhao Ping expected, after Zhao Ping spat a few mouthfuls of saliva, the women on the table were stunned. They were stunned by Zhao Ping's behavior. Zhao Ping, this is too disgusting. After spitting, who else would dare to eat? Looking at the fragrant meat slices soup, the women did not dare to put their chopsticks down. For a moment he lost his appetite and felt a little nauseous. Zhao Ping was pleased to see that the women had stopped fighting. She didn't need to protect them anymore. He praised himself for being too quick-witted. If not for this, the broth would have been snatched away as well. "Isn't it a robbery? Why aren't you snatching it now?" Zhao Ping asked proudly. She took the chopsticks and began to eat. In family Qin, there weren't many oily things. Zhao Ping ate it and found it exceptionally delicious. This big bowl of meat slices soup could really nourish her body. When the women on the table saw Zhao Ping eating the meat slices soup alone and enjoying it, they couldn't help but roll their eyes. God, how can there be such a person in this world? This is simply unheard of. I've never seen it before. This is the first time I've seen such a weirdo. In order to prevent us from eating, she actually spat into the soup. Eating a big bowl alone. Isn't she afraid of bursting? Look at her posture. She'll grow into a pig later. Chapter 1232. Who knows? That wretched lass. She's really despicable to think of this idea. She's really capable. She can't give it to us now. Oh my God, this is the first time I've seen such a shameless person. How did old Zhao's family produce such a trash? I'm really speechless. Then what can we do? Who can do anything? It's just a big bowl of meat soup. That wretched lass is really lucky. When it came to the meat soup, they were all very unwilling. They couldn't just let Zhao Ping take advantage of it while the others didn't get to eat it, right? Zhao Yun'er's eldest grandmother, Madame Hu, was also eating at the table today. Because Zhao Baojun went to another village to help with work, the task of eating wine fell on her head. Madame Hu was naturally happy with such a good thing. She just happened to be hungry and could have a good meal. She didn't expect to meet such a strange person like Zhao Ping, or when she came to eat wine. Seeing Zhao Ping eating, Madame Hu couldn't help but scold. "I say, Pinger, you wretched lass. Eat, eat, eat. You only know how to eat. Do you still want to eat?" Zhao Ping swallowed the meat soup on the plate in one gulp and said to Madame Hu, "Eldest grandmother, don't scold me. When you fought over it, I couldn't eat it. Why didn't you give it to me? You wretched lass, you're still so stubborn." Madame Hu felt that she couldn't reason with Zhao Ping, so she directly shouted Zhao Baoshan. I say second son, look at your pinger. What's wrong with her? Why did you let her eat? It's fine if she's at the table, but you even let her eat it. She doesn't let people eat it. Madame Hu's voice was very loud. Other than Zhao Baoshan, everyone else at the banquet looked over. They looked at Madame Hu and Zhao Baoshan, and then looked at Zhao Ping. Zhao Baoshan was slightly stunned. He glanced at Zhao Ping and found that the bowl of meat soup was in front of Zhao Ping. This, Zhao Baoshan's eyebrows twisted together. He didn't know how to explain it to Madame Hu. What's wrong with his Ping lass? Why didn't she know the rules? She couldn't blame others for having opinions. Madame Hu gave Zhao Baoshan a stern look and said, second son, you have to properly discipline your granddaughter. Don't come out and embarrass old Zhao's family. There are so many people here. If rumors spread, our family will be implicated. Zhao Baoshan's expression turned even uglier when he heard Madame Hu's words. For the sake of his face, he could only say, my Ping lass has already given money as a gift. If she doesn't eat at the table, it's definitely not good. Second son, it's fine if Ping is eating at the table, but look at her. She doesn't even know the rules. If you ask me, it's all because you didn't educate her well. Zhao Ping knew that although Madame Hu was speaking to Zhao Baoshan, she was indirectly scolding him. These words were meant for her to hear. Unable to restrain herself, she stood up and prepared to fight with Madame Hu. Zhao Baoshan hurriedly pulled Zhao Ping to the side and reprimanded her. I say, Pinger lass, what's wrong with you? If you're allowed to eat, then eat properly. How can you eat alone and not let others eat? Chapter 1233. After Zhao Ping finished complaining, she pursed her lips and muttered, Master, I already said that I didn't want to sit at the same table as them. But you insisted that I sit here. Now that I can't eat, I have to snatch the food, and you're scolding me again. Zhao Baoshan glared at Zhao Ping. You have a lot of excuses and others can't out-talk you, okay? Really? You can continue to sit and eat, but don't snatch the food, lest the guests have a problem with it. Zhao Ping opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but Zhao Baoshan stopped her. Okay, don't say anymore. If you have a problem with it, don't eat at the table. It's a joyous occasion, but you made a fuss. It's really embarrassing. Zhao Ping pursed her lips. She was afraid that Zhao Baoshan really wouldn't let her eat, so she could only agree. If she didn't sit at the table, she definitely wouldn't be able to eat it. If she sat at the table and snatched it, she might be able to snatch it. I know, master. I won't be like this, okay? Zhao Baoshan agreed. He still had some doubts about Zhao Ping, and was afraid that Zhao Ping would continue to make a fuss. Zhao Baoshan walked in front of Madame Hu and said to her, eldest sister-in-law, my Ping is not sensible. How about this? Another bowl of meat soup will be served on the table. You can try it again. I'll have Miss Ping stop being like this. Since Zhao Baoshan had already said this, Madame Hu was naturally too embarrassed to continue. She reluctantly agreed, and continued to ramble on for a while. Fortunately, there was still a little bit of meat soup left. Zhao Tianhu brought another bowl over, and the women at the table were able to taste a bit of minced meat again. Because of Zhao Ping's interference at the banquet, there were some small conflicts from time to time. After the banquet, the people in the courtyard continued to leave. Zhao Ping ate until her stomach was full. When she returned to the third branch's room, Zhao Yin'er was also busy. Because he had been cooking non-stop, he was so tired that he was sweating profusely. His whole body felt like it was soaked in sweat. When he went back later, he would have to wash his body properly. Otherwise, he would probably stink after being cooped up for an entire day. Just as he was about to leave old Zhao's kitchen, Daodu and Zhao Tianfu came bounding in. He was aroused by the aroma coming out of old Zhao's kitchen. Mother, Daodu ran in and called out to Zhao Yin'er in a soft voice. What's wrong, Daodu? Zhao Yin'er wiped her apron and asked Daodu, Mother, what are you doing? It smells so good. Daodu is hungry. He wants to eat. Daodu looked at Zhao Yin'er expectantly. Zhao Yin'er smiled and nodded. Okay, Mother will make it for Daodu. Zhao Yin'er glanced at the leftover dishes. She hadn't touched her chopsticks yet. There was a stewed longan mixed with quail eggs and brown sugar. It was sweet and children should like it very much. Just as she was about to eat, Hu Chunhua happened to see it. She rushed in angrily and said to Zhao Yuner, "Yuner, this is my family's food. I can't let you eat it." Zhao Yuner's hands suddenly stopped moving the bowl and chopsticks. A pair of sharp eyes fell on Hu Chunhua. This damned old woman. She really can't bear to part with even a little bit of food. When we had leftovers at home, didn't she also take some of it back? Hu Chunhua looked at Zhao Yuner proudly, and continued to say to Zhao Yuner, "It's fine if you want to eat it. However, you have to give me 1 tael of silver per bowl. Otherwise, don't even think about touching the soup." Chapter 1234. 1 tael for a bowl, that's enough. Let's see what Zhao Yuner can do. Anyway, if you want to eat, you have to pay a price. After Zhao Yuner heard this, her face darkened and turned ugly. Hu Chunhua felt uncomfortable being stared at by Zhao Yuner. So she unhappily replied to Zhao Yuner, "I say, Yuner girl, what are you looking at? It's useless to stare at me. I said 1 tael for a bowl, so you have to pay. Otherwise don't drink it." At the side, Qianzhouja couldn't stand it anymore. She moved in front of Hu Chunhua and tugged at Hu Chunhua. "Mother, if Daoda wants to drink, just let him drink a small bowl. Anyway, we have a lot left. Why are you being so calculative with a child?" After Qianzhouja finished speaking, Hu Chunhua glared at Qianzhouja unhappily. "Why should I let him eat? I don't see Yuner girl being filial to me and giving me anything to eat. Let's not talk about this. This wretched girl is so shrewd. She helped me cook a banquet, and still needs 3 taels of silver. If you eat my food, then you have to ask for her money. Otherwise, won't I lose out?" This, Qianzhouja didn't know what to say for a moment. She looked at Zhao Yuner with some difficulty inside. Her mother was too snobbish. If she wanted to get anything from her, it would be harder than ascending to the heavens. She said what she wanted to say, but she couldn't help Zhao Yuner. There was really nothing she could do. If you don't want to eat, then don't eat. 1 tael for a bowl? 1 tael of silver can buy a lot of things back home. I'll slowly stew it for myself later. After Zhao Yuner said coldly to Hu Chunhua, she coaxed Daodu. "Daodu, can we not eat it? Mother will buy it for you later and stew it for you." Daodu raised his head and looked at Zhao Yuner, then looked at Hu Chunhua. His little head nodded. "Mother, okay, Daodu understands. Daodu is so obedient." Zhao Yuner stroked Daodu's head. Hu Chunhua coldly snorted. "If you don't want to eat it, then don't eat. I don't want you to eat. Let's go, Daodu. Let's go together." "Okay." Daodu nodded his head, and followed Zhao Yuner out of old Zhao's kitchen. Before leaving, Zhao Yuner said to Hu Chunhua, "Grandma, give me the money for cooking as soon as possible. Don't let me." After Zhao Yuner finished speaking, she walked away with her head held high. Seeing Zhao Yuner like that, Hu Chunhua was very angry. How could there be such a stubborn person who only knew how to ask for money? It was really infuriating. "Mother, actually, if you let Yuna eat a bowl, she might not ask for so much. If we treat her well, she might even help for free." Qianzhouja muttered beside Hu Chunhua. Qianzhouja felt that his second niece was actually not bad. If you treated her well, she would definitely treat you well too. If you didn't treat her well, she would naturally argue with you about everything. Especially people like Hu Chunhua, who often had conflicts with Zhao Yuner. What do you know? That wretched girl, is it possible? You still expect her to treat you well? Forget it. There's no hope at all. It's good enough that she didn't anger me to death. Hu Chunhua said angrily. Sigh. Qianzhouja sighed and didn't say anything else. After Zhao Yuner returned home from old Zhao's house, old Zhao's house was still in full swing. Chapter 1235. Hu Chunhua saw that all the women in the house were sitting still, so she urged them angrily. What are you doing? Why are you so lazy? Go and clean up the bowls and chopsticks, or you'll have to send them back after washing them. The bowls and chopsticks at the banquet were basically rented from a shop in town. They would be paid for renting them, and after they were used, they would send them back. After all, no one in the country would prepare so many bowls and chopsticks, and these bowls and chopsticks cost money. Mother, I washed the dishes for a long time today. You can't make me wash the dishes again. After Li Chuiying heard Hu Chunhua's voice, he hurriedly replied, afraid that Hu Chunhua would order him around again. You're not washing them? Hu Chunhua frowned. Yes. Mother, can I not wash them? Let sister-in-law and sister-in-law do this work. I really can't do it. Mother, look at my hands. Aren't they covered in a layer of skin? If I continue to wash them, my hands will be useless. As Li Chuiying spoke, he stretched out his hands and moved closer to Hu Chunhua. Speaking to Hu Chunhua. Hu Chunhua glanced at Li Chuiying's hands and found that Li Chuiying was indeed not lying. His hands were covered in a layer of skin. After a moment of silence, she said to Feng Zhangxia and Qian Zhonghua, then you two can go and clean up. Second daughter-in-law's hands really can't do it. Feng Zhangxia and Qian Zhonghua were not very willing. After all, they had been busy with the banquet today, and it was not as easy as Li Chuiying. How could they be willing to be asked to do the rest of the work now? Mother, I'm also tired today. Don't be fooled by the fact that I'm busy cutting vegetables. I'm dizzy and tired. Feng Zhangxia said, expressing the dissatisfaction in her heart. If she didn't say anything, if she didn't express her thoughts, Li Chuiying would definitely order her around. That's right, Mother. It's not easy being an assistant, and it's tiring. Let me and sister-in-law take a break. Qian Zhozha followed behind Feng Zhangxia and agreed. Hu Chunhua frowned when she heard the conversation between the eldest daughter-in-law and the fourth daughter-in-law, as well as Li Chuiying's excuse. She looked very unhappy. I say, each and every one of you is simply too good at slacking off. Do you mean that you want me to do it? What a lazy woman. What kind of bad luck did my old Zhao family have to marry such a piece of trash? Hu Chunhua was so angry that she started to mumble. After hearing Hu Chunhua's words, old Zhao's daughters-in-law looked at each other. They knew that one of them had to do it. Otherwise, Hu Chunhua would scold them endlessly. However, the three of them didn't want to do it. They were so tired that they didn't have the energy to do it. Mother, we're not slacking off. Isn't there no other way? We've been busy all morning. We just rested, and now we have to clean up. Can't we do it later? Qian Zhozha said weakly. Hu Chunhua rolled her eyes at Qian Zhozha. Wait. I want to see how long you'll have to wait before you clean up. I reckon that the bowls and chopsticks on the table won't be touched, even when it's dark. Qian Zhozha curled her lips. Since Hu Chunhua said so, what else could she say? Chapter 1236. Hu Chunhua replied unhappily. What do you mean by not having the energy to clean up? When you were eating just now, each of you was more energetic than the other. How can you say that you don't have the energy after eating so much? Feng Zhangxia and the other sisters-in-law were speechless. They felt that Hu Chunhua's words were completely illogical. Who was not having the energy? How could they not have the energy to eat? They were already starving. So of course they would eat quickly. Otherwise, how could they replenish their energy? Mother, it's not like that. Feng Zhangxia replied weakly, as if she was afraid that Hu Chunhua would be angry. She looked at Hu Chunhua nervously. Then what is the reason? Hu Chunhua asked angrily. Mother, then let's rest for a while. Rest for 2 hours. After we recover our energy we can continue. Is that okay? Qian Zholi was really helpless and said to Hu Chunhua. Hu Chunhua did not have any objections. Resting for 2 hours was fine. Just as Hu Chunhua was about to nod in agreement, Feng Zhangxia said, Mother, fourth sister-in-law is diligent. Let her work. I'll go to the room first. My Yang still has to be taken care of. Feng Zhangxia quickly pushed all the responsibility to Qian Zholi, so that she could have some free time. Sometimes, one had to be lazy when one should be lazy. Otherwise it would be her turn to suffer. Qian Zholi's mouth twitched, and a pair of resentful eyes fell on Feng Zhangxia. Her sister-in-law was really too much. Wasn't she bullying her? Qian Zholi was different from Liang Jinxiao. She was not too cowardly. She directly expressed her opinion to Feng Zhangxia. Sister-in-law, you can't do this, right? I have to clean up 7 or 8 tables of bowls and chopsticks by myself. How can I be so busy? I'll be exhausted to death. Then let Jing work together. Feng Zhangxia replied and said confidently, Jing can't stay in her mother's home for long. She should help her family with more things now. She can't be lazy. Hearing Feng Zhangxia's words, Zhao Jing'er and Li Chuiying were displeased. Li Chuiying stood up and questioned Feng Zhangxia. Sister-in-law, what are you talking about? Why does my Jing-er have to help bathe? According to what you said, your Pan-er has been married here for so many years and hasn't done any work. She should do more work for you. Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips and confronted Li Chuiying. I say, second sister-in-law, what you said is not right. My family's Pan-er marrying over is marrying beneath her status. Our old Zhao family should treat her better. Normally, she lives like the eldest daughter of her family. Why does she have to live like this when she comes to our hometown? Li Chuiying replied unhappily. Sister-in-law, you're really good at protecting your wife. Everyone says that if you marry a chicken, you have to follow the chicken. If you marry a dog, you have to follow the dog. Now that Pan-er has married into our old Zhao family, she has to follow our old Zhao family's rules. She can't just not work. You. Seeing that Li Chuiying and Feng Zhangxia were about to quarrel, Hua Chunhua felt a headache coming on. Okay, don't quarrel with me. The remaining bowls and chopsticks have to be washed one by one. Hua Chunhua raised her voice and said, Mother. Feng Zhangxia and Li Chuiying began to have objections. After all, neither of them wanted to wash the dishes. Qian Zhenhua, on the other hand, felt that it was fine as long as everyone worked together, and she didn't suffer alone. Chapter 1237. Hua Chunhua's attitude was very firm, and her gloomy face made people feel uncomfortable. Feng Zhangxia and Li Chuiying were still unwilling, but they didn't dare to say anything. They just curled their lips and agreed. If they said anything more, Hua Chunhua would probably scold them. Mother, shall we take a break first? Okay, just do it later. Don't drag it out. You can't let me do it, Hua Chunhua said before entering the house. Feng Zhangxia's sisters-in-law stood in the yard and looked at the tableware on the big tables. They suddenly felt a headache. Oh my God! Zhao Xinhui, Zhao Baoshan, and Hua Chunhua were the ones who benefited from this banquet. After all, Zhao Xinhui was Zhao Baoshan and Feng Zhangxia's daughter. If Zhao Xinhui married well, they would be respected. The money that young Master Meng gave to Zhao Xinhui was all in the hands of Zhao Xinhui, and the other branches didn't get it. However, now that Zhao Xinhui was getting married, the wedding banquet was basically arranged by the sisters-in-law. They were so busy that they were exhausted. Naturally, they felt uncomfortable. Li Chuiying's resentful eyes fell on Feng Zhangxia. Her hands were already like this. Originally, if Feng Zhangxia didn't say anything, she probably wouldn't have to wash the tableware. Now because of Feng Zhangxia, her hands had to continue to be tortured. Li Chuiying felt that since she married into the family, the first branch often bullied them. When there was work, it was the other sisters-in-law who did more work. Most of the benefits were taken by the first branch. Not to mention other things, the other children in old Zhao's family didn't go to school. Only Zhao Tianlong went to school. Studying was expensive. Old Zhao's family had more than 10 mu of land, yet they still lived in poverty. Because of Zhao Tianlong's studies, most of the money was spent on him. If it weren't for Zhao Baoshan and Hua Chunhua suppressing them, it was impossible for the other branches to not express their thoughts. In Li Chuiying's heart, she suddenly had the idea of splitting up. It was hard to say if Zhao Tianlong would be able to pass the exam. However, her Jing-er was going to marry Zheng Qian. No matter how bad her results were in the future, her daughter would be able to send some money to the family. If her Jing-er worked hard and got pregnant with a boy, Zheng Qian would give her 100 or 200 taels of silver. After they separated from the family, the money would naturally fall into her pocket. It would have nothing to do with old Zhao's family. After thinking about it for a while, Li Chuiying felt more and more that it was best to split up. After they split from the family, they wouldn't have to stay with the main branch and be bullied. She only needed to take care of her family, and the work would be much easier. However, the only problem now was how to split from the family. With Zhao Baoshan and Hua Chunhua around, they definitely wouldn't agree. However, she couldn't make too much of a fuss. If she provoked them too much, the second branch would be directly separated from the family. They probably wouldn't be able to get any land or other things. At that time, they would be at a disadvantage. She had to think of a way to make Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan willingly split from the family. As Li Chuiying thought about it, Shen Pan also had the same idea. By the time her sisters-in-law finished washing the dishes, they were already exhausted. Shen Pan saw that her hands had been soaked in water for too long. They were wrinkled and looked very ugly. Chapter 1238. Feng Zhangxia approached Shen Pan and said, "What's wrong, Pan? What do you want to talk to your mother about? Are you tired from all the work today?" Shen Pan shook her head and said to Feng Zhangxia, "Mother, it's not about that. Let's go inside and I'll tell you slowly." Feng Zhangxia felt that Shen Pan was being mysterious. Although she was curious, she still nodded and said, "Okay, let's go inside." After the two of them walked into the room, Shen Pan told Feng Zhangxia about her idea of splitting up. After Feng Zhangxia heard this, she sighed and said, "Little Pan, mother knows that you have been wronged, but it is not easy to separate from the family. Otherwise, mother would have wanted to separate from the family as early as possible, so that we don't have to suffer together. Let's wait and see if we can find something. That way, we'll have an excuse. Otherwise, it'll be difficult to split up." Hearing Feng Zhangxia's helplessness, Shen Pan could only nod and say, "Okay. But mother, if there's a chance, even if it's a small matter, we'd better make it big. If we wait for too long and still don't have a chance, we can only create our own opportunities. Otherwise, if it drags on, who knows how long it'll take." After listening to Shen Pan's words, Feng Zhangxia felt that it was reasonable, so she nodded and said, "Okay, Pan, don't worry. If there's a chance, I'll definitely split up. Otherwise, your second aunt will use you as an excuse. Sigh, seeing you like this makes my heart ache. If your mother knew that you were living like this in our old Zhao family, she would definitely say that I didn't take good care of you as your mother-in-law." Seeing the concern in Feng Zhangxia's eyes, Shen Pan held Feng Zhangxia's hand and said, "Mother, this has nothing to do with you. You're already very good to me." Feng Zhangxia sighed. "Ai Pan girl, you'll have to suffer for a while. After a while you'll be fine. When we split up, mother will take care of all these chores. I'll definitely not let you touch them." Shen Pan was moved and said, "Mother, you're so good. Silly girl, you're my wife. How can I not be good to you?" Shen Pan nodded heavily. She was glad that Feng Zhangxia wasn't like Li Chuiying or Hua Chunhua. Otherwise, no matter how much she liked Zhao Tianlong, she wouldn't be able to make her work every day. She was afraid that she wouldn't be able to endure this kind of life. It was already summer, and in another 2 to 3 months it would be autumn. When that time comes, the autumn examinations would begin. After the autumn examinations, Zhao Tianlong would know if he would be able to become a high scholar. At that time, his life would be much better. He was S2. She, to you, Liang to her. After all, he had promised Zhao Ping. Liang Jinxiao knew that it wouldn't be good to go back on his word now. Thinking about Zhao Ping's life and her husband's family, if Zhao Ping could earn money by setting up a stall, her life and her husband's family would definitely be much better. Liang Jinxiao didn't have much money left. He took out 2 taels of silver and gave it to Zhao Ping. Together with Zhao Ping's dowry, they definitely had enough money to set up a stall. Zhao Ping, who received the money, was satisfied. Chapter 1239. After thinking for a while, Zhao Ping said to Liang Jinxiao, "Mother, I'm going to deliver water to father and the others now." Liang Jinxiao said, "Ping, it's still early. You can deliver it to them later." If it were on a normal day, Zhao Ping would not be so attentive. In the past, when he asked her to deliver water, Zhao Ping was very dawdling and would only do it after being urged for a long time. But now, there was no need for him to urge her at all. She actually offered to deliver water herself. Liang Jinxiao comforted himself in his heart. Did Zhao Ping grow up and become more sensible after marrying him? "Ping, girl, why don't you go back early first? Mother will deliver the water myself." Zhao Ping did not really want to deliver water. She just wanted to carry out her plan. Mother, let me deliver it. Anyway, I'm not in a hurry to go back. It's fine. Liang Jinxiao sighed and said to Zhao Ping. Okay then, Ping girl. Wait a while more before you deliver the water. Got it, mother. Then I'll go to Xiaofeng's house to play for a while. When I come back, I'll deliver water to father and the others. Liang Jinxiao nodded heavily. Okay, Ping girl, then you go and play first. Liang Jinxiao knew that Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng were very close. Zhao Ping rarely came back to her parents' house, so there was no harm in walking around. This child probably would not tell her parents about her grievances. Instead, she would talk to Ma Xiaofeng. People were like this. When they were upset, they would feel much better if they found someone to complain to. Okay, mother, then I'll go now. Okay. Zhao Ping skipped out of the house excitedly and ran towards Ma Xiaofeng's house. When Zhao Ping skipped over, Qian Chuanxiu was also at home. Because the relationship with old Zhao's family was not very good, and they were basically in a deadlock, Qian Chuanxiu did not attend Zhao Xinhui's wedding this time, and old Zhao's family held a wedding. According to her understanding of old Zhao's family, even if it was a banquet, there should not be anything special. It's not worth it to give away dozens of copper coins for nothing. Of course, the most important thing was that the relationship between Qian Chuanxiu and old Zhao's family. She did not want to have any contact with old Zhao's family. Otherwise, old Zhao's family would probably think that she was trying to be friendly with them. What made Qian Chuanxiu upset was that she heard from the villagers who attended the wedding banquet that old Zhao's banquet this time was still being cooked by Zhao Yin. The dishes at the banquet were surprisingly delicious. Spending dozens of copper coins was a big bargain for them. After hearing the villagers' words, Qian Chuanxiu was very upset in her heart. Why didn't she take advantage of such a free bargain? She was so stupid. The more she thought about it, the more upset Qian Chuanxiu felt. She thought about when she could make up for the loss she suffered. Qian Chuanxiu, who was in a fit of anger, was not very happy when she saw Zhao Ping coming over. She said to Zhao Ping in a strange tone, "Oh, Ping girl, you came to visit your maiden home again? Before you got married, you played very well with my Xiaofeng. Now, you still like to come to my home and play with Xiaofeng." Zhao Ping did not understand the other meaning in Qian Chuanxiu's words. After hearing Qian Chuanxiu's words, Zhao Ping said with a smile, "Auntie, Xiaofeng is my good friend. I came back to my maternal home this time, just to play with Xiaofeng for a while." Chapter 1240. Zhao Ping continued to say with a smile, "Auntie, Xiaofeng and I are indeed as close as sisters. She's even better than my own sister." Qian Chuanxiu rolled her eyes at Zhao Ping. This girl was really a bit stupid. She didn't have any awareness when others were talking. Couldn't she hear the meaning in her words? Facing Zhao Ping, Qian Chuanxiu didn't hold back and said, "I say, Ping girl, you and my Xiaofeng were already married before. Now that you're married, it's best if you don't interact with her. After all, my Xiaofeng is going to get married later. If you pass on something bad to her, how can my Xiaofeng get married?" Zhao Ping frowned. She didn't know what Qian Chuanxiu meant. Why couldn't she have any contact with Ma Xiaofeng after she got married? Was there something wrong with getting married? Zhao Ping couldn't understand Qian Chuanxiu's words. At this time, Zhao Ping came out of the house. After seeing Zhao Ping and hearing Qian Chuanxiu's words, she said to Qian Chuanxiu, "Mother, don't say that to Sister Ping. What's wrong with us playing together? In the whole village, only Sister Ping treats me the best. Otherwise, no one would play with me." Hearing Ma Xiaofeng's defense, Zhao Ping was very touched. She thought that Ma Xiaofeng was so nice. When Qian Chuanxiu was talking about her, she still stood up and defended her friend. Zhao Ping naturally didn't know Ma Xiaofeng's thoughts. In the past, she was close to Zhao Ping because the other girls in the village didn't like to talk to her. Only Zhao Ping was willing to play with her. She felt a sense of accomplishment. At the same time, Zhao Ping was easier to fool. Now that she was with Zhao Ping she wanted to use Zhao Ping. She not only wanted to marry Zhao Tianan, but also wanted to do business with Zhao Ping to make money. Hearing that, Qian Chuanxiu pulled the corner of her mouth with disdain. "I say, Xiaofeng, If she's really good to you, why didn't she send you any of the leftover dishes from the banquet at home? Who doesn't know how to do it? You have to actually do it. Zhao Ping'er looked a little embarrassed and explained to Qian Chuanxiu. I don't even have time to eat the leftovers. Qian Chuanxiu pursed her lips. Just as she was about to say something, Ma Xiaofeng stopped her. Mom, don't scold Ping'er. Yeah. Qian Chuanxiu frowned with displeasure. Of course she knew that. She just felt uncomfortable in her heart. She didn't know how to eat the leftovers from old Zhao's family. After listening to the descriptions of those who had eaten at the banquet today, those dishes were really delicious. Even if she went to a restaurant on the street, she might not be able to eat more delicious dishes. Especially some meat dishes. The more Liang Jinxiao thought about it, the more hungry she felt. She desperately wanted to eat. No, she had to try it. She couldn't turn to Zhao Ping'er. The third branch had nothing to do with old Zhao's family. What Chenhua was so stingy. It would be strange if she gave Zhao Ping'er leftovers. Qian Chuanxiu thought for a while. There was one person she could turn to. That was the second son of old Zhao's family, Zhao Wenxue. Chapter 1241. When she thought of Zhao Wenxue, she became angry. That stinky man. It was fine if he did her, but he was of no use at all. He didn't help her at all. Previously, Zhao Wenxue had promised her, but he didn't fulfill any of his promises. Qian Chuanxiu naturally felt uncomfortable when she didn't get any benefits from it. If she could extort some benefits from Zhao Wenxue now, she could at least earn some. After thinking about it, Qian Chuanxiu decided to talk to Zhao Wenxue. Zhao Wenxue was a man. If he held a banquet at home, it should be fine for him to make some food. Qian Chuanxiu waved her hand and replied, Okay, I got it. Mother, I'll talk to Sister Ping'er then. You go to the room and rest first. Ma Xiaofeng said. Okay. Qian Chuanxiu replied, and then went into the room. Chapter 1241. What happened after Qian Chuanxiu went into the room? Zhao Ping'er went up to Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng took Zhao Ping'er's hand intimately and said to Zhao Ping'er, Sister Ping'er, why did you come to see me today? Zhao Ping'er smiled and winked at Ma Xiaofeng ambiguously. He Xiaofeng, it's about the thing I told you last time. Although Zhao Ping'er didn't say it explicitly, Zhao Ping'er had already guessed what Zhao Ping'er was talking about from Zhao Ping'er's ambiguous wink. She couldn't help blushing. Sister Ping'er, so fast? Zhao Ping'er smiled. It's not fast at all. Since there's a chance now, I have to seize it. Otherwise, if I don't have time to come over later, what should I do? Ma Xiaofeng nodded shyly and said, Well, sure Sister Ping'er, I'll listen to you. Great, don't worry Xiaofeng. You only need to go to the back of the mountain. I'll handle the rest. Thank you Sister Ping'er. Ma Xiaofeng looked at Zhao Ping'er with gratitude. Zhao Ping'er also held Ma Xiaofeng's hand and said to Ma Xiaofeng intimately, Xiaofeng, you're too polite to me. It's not a big deal. After all, we're very close friends. If you can become my sister-in-law, it's my family's good fortune. Ma Xiaofeng nodded again. After telling Ma Xiaofeng what to do, Zhao Ping'er happily went back. She had a smile on her face all the way back, imagining that her plan would succeed. When they were back, it was almost time. Liang Jinxiao packed the water casually and went to deliver water to the men who were going to work. Before Zhao Ping'er got married, she also prepared aphrodisiac in addition to burning incense. The aphrodisiac was the kind that was put in water and mixed together. Men or women would have a reaction after drinking it. Zhao Ping'er specially put it by her side this time. When she delivered water to Zhao Tianan, she would give it to Zhao Tianan. Of course, the aphrodisiac wouldn't take effect right away. It would take a while. When Zhao Ping'er tricked Zhao Tianan to go to the back of the mountain, the aphrodisiac would take effect. When he saw Ma Xiaofeng, he naturally couldn't control himself. After preparing the tea, Zhao Ping'er happily walked to the foot of the mountain. When she arrived at the foundation, the sun was shining brightly, and several men were working hard with sweat all over their backs. Chapter 1242. Zhao Tianan paused and replied to Zhao Sister, put the water down. I'm not thirsty. Zhao Tianan meant that he was not going to drink. If Zhao Tianan refused to drink, Zhao Ping would not be able to achieve her goal. Zhao Ping hurriedly persuaded him. Tianan, you've been working for so long. Even if you're not thirsty, you should at least drink a little, right? Look at how much sweat you've been sweating. Zhao Ping said and persuaded Zhao Tianan. When the other men heard this, they walked over to Zhao Ping and said to Zhao Ping Ping if Tianan doesn't want to drink, forget it. We'll drink it. We're really thirsty now. Thank goodness you brought the water over. Zhao Wenshui smiled and said, it's not easy for Ping to come back. Now that she's back, she actually brought us water. That's right, Ping has become much more diligent this time. Come, let's drink together. Seeing the men coming over, Zhao Ping did not want to let them drink. She wanted to let Zhao Tianan drink first. Zhao Ping refused with a cold face. No, you can't drink first. Let Tianan drink first. The men looked at Zhao Ping in confusion. Ping, what are you doing? Tianan isn't thirsty. It's fine if he doesn't want to drink, but we're thirsty. Why don't you give us water to drink? I just can't. I came here especially for Tianan, so let him drink first. Zhao Ping said stubbornly. The men thought that Zhao Ping must be crazy. Her words and actions were so strange. Zhao Tianan heard Zhao Ping's words and could not help but frown. Zhao Tianan also did not know why Zhao Ping said that. When did his sister treat him so well? Of course, Zhao Tianan did not know that Zhao Ping did this, because she was afraid that the men would drink all the water. She specially prepared a cup for Zhao Tianan. This cup could not be drunk by other men. After hearing Zhao Ping's words, Zhao Tianan had to come over and say to Zhao Ping, Sister, pour me a cup. I'll drink. Okay. Zhao Ping responded happily and hurriedly poured a cup for Zhao Tianan. After seeing Zhao Tianan drink it, she was relieved. Sister, it's finished. After Zhao Tianan drank it, he handed the cup to Zhao Ping. That's good. Zhao Ping responded with a smile. Looking at Zhao Ping, Zhao Tianan was puzzled. She just drank some water. Why was Zhao Ping so big? Sister, then I'll continue to work. Zhao Tianan said. Okay, then you go. Zhao Ping put down the water and then left. After 10 minutes, Zhao Ping turned back and said to Zhao Tianan, Tianan, come here. Seeing Zhao Ping's anxious look, Zhao Tianan hurried to Zhao Ping and said to Zhao Ping, Sister, what's wrong? Tianan, Mother fell down at the back of the mountain and sprained her ankle. Hurry up and carry Mother back. Chapter 1243. Okay. Hurry up. Zhao Ping urged him. Okay. Zhao Tianan gratefully stopped what he was doing and ran towards the back of the mountain. He didn't think too much and didn't realize that Zhao Ping was following him. Seeing Zhao Tianan running out in a hurry, Zhao Ping was relieved. She hoped that everything would go smoothly and no accidents would happen. Of course, she couldn't go with Zhao Ping. After all, she would be too much of a hindrance, and Ma Xiaofeng would be too shy to let go. Zhao Tianan ran towards the back of the mountain. When he was about to reach the back of the mountain, he ran into Mu Hin, who was picking wild vegetables. Seeing Zhao Tianan in a hurry, Mu Hin went forward and asked with concern, Tianan, what's wrong with you? Did something happen? Zhao Tianan stopped in front of Mu Hin and said to Mu Hin, My mother accidentally fell down at the back of the mountain. I'm going to find my mother now and carry her back. Hearing Zhao Tianan say that Liang Jinxiao fell down, Mu Hin also showed a worried look. Really? Then I'll go with you. After all, one more person meant one more helper. When the time came, it would be relatively easier to support Liang Jinxiao. No, it's not necessary. Won't it be too much trouble for you? It's fine. I'm fine. I'll run for a while more. Okay then. Let's go. Okay. The two of them suddenly quickened their pace a lot. Halfway through, Zhao Tianan suddenly felt dizzy. He stopped and rubbed his forehead. Mu Hin asked, Tianan, what's wrong with you? Nothing. I just feel a little dizzy in my head. My chest feels tight, and I feel a little hot. After Zhao Tianan finished speaking, he felt his body becoming more and more uncomfortable. My body was getting hotter and hotter, and I couldn't help but want to take off my clothes. Mu-hin glanced at Zhao Tianan and saw that Zhao Tianan's face was bright red, as if he had a fever. Tianan, are you sick? Mu-hin asked worriedly. If he wasn't sick, he shouldn't be like this, right? However, Zhao Tianan was clearly fine just now, and his expression was normal. How did Zhao Tianan's face become so red in the blink of an eye? I don't think so. Zhao Tianan replied. Everything was fine just now, but they suddenly became like this. Let me touch it. Mu-hin reached out his hand, wanting to touch Zhao Tianan's forehead, to feel the temperature of Zhao Tianan's forehead. As Zhao Tianan's cold hand fell on Zhao Tianan's forehead, Zhao Tianan felt his mouth becoming more dry. He couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva into his stomach. After touching Zhao Tianan's forehead, Mu-hin sighed and said, Tianan, your forehead is so hot. When Mu-hin pulled his hand back, Zhao Tianan couldn't help but hold Mu-hin's hand and put Mu-hin's hand in his palm. Mu-hin. Zhao Tianan's mind was filled with many dirty thoughts, and his body became more and more out of control. He didn't know what was wrong with him. Chapter 1244. Although Mu-hin liked Zhao Tianan, she had never expressed her feelings to Zhao Tianan. She even kept a proper distance from Zhao Tianan. Zhao Tianan suddenly treated her like this. Did it mean that Zhao Tianan was actually interested in her? When a woman was faced with the passion of the man she liked, she more or less couldn't control herself. Zhao Tianan swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva. He didn't know what to say either. Tianan. Mu-hin's face flushed. She wanted to pull her hand back from Zhao Tianan's, but found that her hand was tightly grasped by Zhao Tianan. She couldn't break free at all. Tianan, what do you want to do? Zhao Tianan also didn't know what he wanted to do, but the desire in his heart grew stronger. After a while, Zhao Tianan found that his consciousness was getting more and more out of control, and he began to take off his clothes. Mu-hin's mind suddenly went blank. Seeing Zhao Tianan take off his clothes, revealing his broad arms, she hurriedly asked, Tianan, what are you doing? Zhao Tianan didn't respond to Mu-hin. It wasn't that he didn't want to respond, but that he couldn't control himself at all. Tianan, are you crazy? Mu-hin closed her eyes. She didn't dare to look anymore, because Zhao Tianan had begun to take off his pants. Now Zhao Tianan looked like he was possessed. It was a little scary to look at. I'm not crazy, Zhao Tianan replied the moment his consciousness became clear. However, just as he recovered, his consciousness blurred again. Zhao Tianan pulled Mu-hin over and pulled her into his arms. Mu-hin screamed at Zhao Tianan's sudden action, because her body was now pressed against Zhao Tianan's naked body. Mu-xian didn't know what to say, but her mouth was covered by Zhao Tianan's. Zhao Tianan was just an instinctive physical reaction. Looking at Mu-hin's small red lips, he wanted to kiss them. But because it was the first time, Zhao Tianan's kiss was a little jerky. After tasting Mu-hin's little mouth, Zhao Tianan felt that it was soft and fragrant. He took a bite and wanted to continue eating. Zhao Tianan hugged and kissed Mu-hin, unwilling to let go. As for Mu-hin, who was in Zhao Tianan's arms, his mind had long gone blank. How could she have expected that Zhao Tianan would kiss her? Her nostrils were filled with Zhao Tianan's scent. This was the first time that she had done such an intimate act with a man. Mu-hin knew that under normal circumstances, only husband and wife would do such a thing. If a man and a woman did it, and were found out, there would definitely be a lot of gossip. After tasting the sweetness, Zhao Tianan found that he was getting more and more out of control. He reached out and touched Mu-hin's body. Wherever Zhao Tianan's hand touched, Mu-hin's body couldn't help but tremble. As if she knew what Zhao Tianan was going to do next, Mu-hin hurriedly pushed him away and broke away from Zhao Tianan's kiss. She said to Zhao Tianan, No, Tianan, we can't do this. However, Mu-hin found that what she was doing was completely useless. Zhao Tianan continued to hold her tightly and even pushed her into the grass. Lying on the soft grass cushion, she didn't feel very uncomfortable. Chapter 1245. Otherwise, she didn't know what others would say about her if she was seen. She reckoned that there would be some rumors, and the spittle would drown her. Tianan, what do you want to do? Don't be impulsive, Mu-hin whispered in Zhao Tianan's ear. Being pressed down by Zhao Tianan, Mu Hin felt that her heart was about to jump out. Zhao Tianan didn't seem to hear Mu Hin's words, and his hands continued to move. After taking off his clothes, Zhao Tianan began to undress Mu Hin. Mu Hin wanted to refuse, but Zhao Tianan's strength was too strong. Mu Hin couldn't resist at all, and could only let Zhao Tianan do it. The two people's bodies were buried in the grass, and no one saw them. Otherwise, if they saw this scene, they would definitely blush, and their hearts would beat faster. After a while, Zhao Tianan recovered his divine sense after venting, and realized what he had done to Mu Hin. Zhao Tianan was suddenly at a loss. However, since he had touched a girl, he must be responsible for her. He couldn't just let it go. Zhao Tianan hugged Mu Hin. Mu Hin, I will be responsible for you. Facing the two people's naked bodies, Zhao Tianan began to help them put on their clothes. Mu Hin closed her eyes. She didn't dare to look at Zhao Tianan. At this moment, she just wanted to find a hole to hide in. The pain on her body was still there, which let her know that everything that had happened just now was a reality, and not a dream or fantasy. Really? Mu Hin asked weakly. We have already done it as husband and wife. I will definitely tell my mother to ask for your hand in marriage. Mu Hin, don't worry. I'm not an irresponsible person, Zhao Tianan assured Mu Hin. Although he didn't know why he had such an inexplicable impulse, Zhao Tianan knew his responsibility as a man. If he married Mu Hin in the future, Zhao Tianan didn't have many opinions in his heart. He still had a good impression of Mu Hin. Mu Hin replied timidly. She did not know what to say. On the other side, Ma Xiaofeng waited for Zhao Tianan for a long time, but Zhao Tianan didn't come. She was very anxious and wondered if Zhao Ping'er's plan had failed. Otherwise, there was no reason. Just as Ma Xiaofeng was looking around anxiously, Lu San came from not far away. Originally, he was just wandering around, and wandered to the back of the mountain where there was no one. He didn't expect to meet Ma Xiaofeng, this little beauty. He glanced at Ma Xiaofeng's slim figure and charming face. He couldn't help but want to touch it a few times. Lu San was a lot more well-behaved these days. After being reprimanded by Li Zheng, he behaved himself for a period of time. When he met the young women and girls in the village, he didn't do much. But the women at home were too ugly. He really didn't want to touch them, so he restrained himself for a long time. Now how could he bear it? When he saw Ma Xiaofeng, he somewhat couldn't control himself. He couldn't wait to pounce on Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng didn't notice that Lu San was approaching her quietly. She still stood in the same place and waited. Suddenly, a person pounced on her from behind and held her tightly in his arms. She was surrounded by his breath. Chapter 1246. After all, the drug in Zhao Tianan's body was taking effect at this moment, so he couldn't help but pounce on her. Tianan, Ma Xiaofeng said happily. Her voice was a little delicate, which made Lu San's heart itch. This little girl is really a stunner. After getting closer, he smelled the scent of Ma Xiaofeng's body. It was fragrant, a woman's body fragrance. He touched Ma Xiaofeng's body with his hand. It was soft and very comfortable. Just after Ma Xiaofeng turned her head and saw the person behind her, she saw Lu San's face and couldn't help screaming. Why not Zhao Tianan but Lu San? Ma Xiaofeng's eyes showed a trace of fear. She recognized Lu San. After all, Lu San was very famous in the village. Many young wives and girls would avoid Lu San when they saw Lu San, for fear of being bullied by Lu San. If she fell into the hands of Lu San, she would only be defiled. Hee little beauty, Lu San smiled wretchedly, revealing a row of big yellow teeth, and said to Ma Xiaofeng, let me go, let me go. Ma Xiaofeng quickly struggled. While pushing Lu San away, she shouted, for fear of being taken advantage of by Lu San. Little beauty, let's play together. Why should I let you go? Lu San smiled wretchedly. You pervert, don't touch me. Let me go quickly, or don't blame me for being rude. Ma Xiaofeng threatened anxiously. However, Ma Xiaofeng's threat was not a threat at all in the eyes of Lu San. Oh little beauty, look at you, why can't you let go? Let's just play, don't refuse. Lu San hugged Ma Xiaofeng tightly, not giving Ma Xiaofeng a chance to struggle. Ma Xiaofeng was very anxious. For a rascal like Lu San, it was useless to talk or hit. She had no chance to avoid Lu San at all. Because Lu San had bullied a lot of women and girls, his ability to bully women was first class. Soon, Ma Xiaofeng was touched by Lu San. Lu San quickly took off Ma Xiaofeng's clothes, and then pressed Ma Xiaofeng on the grass. No, little beauty, I can't control. I'm coming. With that, Lu San took out his treasures, and began to do excessive things to Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng shouted at the top of her voice, but there was no one on the back of the mountain. There was no one to help her. The louder Ma Xiaofeng shouted, the more excited Lu San became. Little beauty, hee, on the back of the mountain. No one will come to see you even if you shout at the top of your voice. It's better to be obedient to me. Bastard pervert, let me go quickly, or I'll report you to Li Zheng. Then you'll suffer. Ma Xiaofeng scolded angrily. Report? Little beauty, do you think I'm afraid? I've done a lot of bad things in the village, and I'm still fine now. At most, I'll be reprimanded. You. Hee little beauty, scream as hard as you can. If you attract people and they see us like this, TSK. Let's see how you'll be able to show your face in the future. Lu San said with a smile. In fact, Lu San's words were also to scare Ma Xiaofeng. Chapter 1247. After all, women cared about their reputation the most. Even if she was bullied by other men, she definitely didn't want many people to know. Otherwise, it would be bad for her reputation, especially for an unmarried girl. If this happened, it would be very difficult for her to find her family in the future. Sure enough, after Lu San finished speaking, Ma Xiaofeng immediately became more well-behaved. Ma Xiaofeng was very scared. If people knew that she was raped by Lu San, it would be impossible for her to marry Zhao Tianan. Even if she found a man with poor conditions, it would be difficult. Hee little beauty, this is good. As Lu San spoke, the movements of his hands became more excessive. He directly galloped on Ma Xiaofeng's body. Ma Xiaofeng felt a strange feeling. In addition to pain, she also felt humiliated. If today's matter was accidentally discovered by others, how could she face others? Lu San hadn't done anything to a woman for a while. This time, he suddenly could vent. Lu San felt very comfortable. After quickly finishing off Ma Xiaofeng, Lu San pulled up his pants and left. Only Ma Xiaofeng was left lying on the ground, her clothes disheveled. After lying down for a few minutes, Ma Xiaofeng calmly responded and hurriedly tidied up her clothes. She couldn't let others see. Being bitten by a dog was a fact. There was no way to change it. The only thing she could do now was to not let others find out, so that it wouldn't affect her. Not long after Ma Xiaofeng put on her clothes and was about to leave, Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin came together. When Zhao Tianan saw that the person he saw after coming to the mountain wasn't Liang Jinxiao, but Ma Xiaofeng, he was slightly stunned. Then he asked, Xiaofeng, have you seen my mother? Ma Xiaofeng quickly shook her head. No. Then have you seen my mother before? I think I have. She should have left. Ma Xiaofeng stuttered back. At this moment, Ma Xiaofeng's heart was relieved and puzzled. Fortunately, Zhao Tianan didn't come earlier. Otherwise, if he found out that Lu San had done that to her, it would be completely impossible between her and Zhao Tianan. Now, even if she wasn't a virgin, she could use a way to deceive Zhao Tianan. He was puzzled as to why Zhao Tianan had only arrived now. Furthermore, his expression was normal. He hadn't been drugged, right? Suddenly, she caught a glimpse of Mu Xian behind Zhao Tianan, as well as Mu Xian's flushed face. Ma Xiaofeng immediately guessed that Zhao Tianan had used Mu Xian to cure the poison. In that case, between Mu Hin and Zhao Tianan, Ma Xiaofeng had an indescribable feeling. If her guess was true, then wouldn't she have made a wedding dress for Mu Hin and sacrificed herself for nothing? No way. Then it seems that my mother has gone back. Zhao Tianan muttered. After all, he had delayed for so long. Liang Jinxiao couldn't have waited for him for so long. It was normal for her to go back now. Mu Hin stood beside Zhao Tianan and whispered to Zhao Tianan, Tianan, shall we go back and take a look? Zhao Tianan responded, okay. Seeing that Zhao Tianan turned around, and didn't look at her with the slightest reluctance. Ma Xiaofeng's heart couldn't help but hurt. Zhao Tianan, did he really not care about her at all? She had given him her virginity, but he didn't take it seriously at all, even though Zhao Tianan didn't know about it. Chapter 1248. Ma Xiaofeng gritted her teeth, jealousy and unwillingness written all over her face. No way. She didn't want to give up Zhao Tianan, and let that be *tch Mu Hin take advantage of him. After staying at the back of the mountain for a while, Ma Xiaofeng also left. She had encountered such a terrible thing today, so she needed to deal with it calmly. She needed to go back and have a good rest. Zhao Tianan rushed home, wanting to make sure that Liang Jinxiao was alright. Zhao Ping had been waiting in the yard for a long time. When she saw Zhao Tianan, she hurried forward and asked Zhao Tianan, did you meet Xiaofeng at the back of the mountain? Zhao Tianan nodded and responded, yes. Zhao Ping was overjoyed. As long as Zhao Tianan saw Ma Xiaofeng, there would be no problem. Now that Zhao Tianan didn't have any drug effect on him, it meant that Ma Xiaofeng had helped him get rid of the poison. That's good, Zhao Ping muttered. Zhao Tianan looked at Zhao Ping with a puzzled expression, feeling that Zhao Ping was very strange. Why did Zhao Ping ask him if he had seen Ma Xiaofeng as soon as he came back? Could it be that Zhao Ping knew that Ma Xiaofeng was at the back of the mountain? Big sister, where's mom? Is she at home? Why didn't I see her at the back of the mountain? Zhao Tianan asked with a frown. Zhao Ping hurriedly said, Mom is back. It's okay. She can walk on her own. She didn't fall and hurt herself. After hearing Zhao Ping's words, Zhao Tianan felt relieved. Tianan, how are you and Xiaofeng these days? Do you still want to be together with Xiaofeng? Do you want me to help you ask Xiaofeng out? Zhao Ping asked tentatively. No need, big sis. There's nothing between me and Xiaofeng. Zhao Tianan replied. Since he had touched Mu Hin, he had to be responsible for Mu Hin. After marrying Mu Hin, he would naturally not be able to have any relations with other women. He used to like Ma Xiaofeng, but it wasn't that he couldn't let go of this relationship. Besides, it wasn't like he didn't have any good feelings towards Mu Hin. Zhao Ping was slightly stunned. She hadn't expected Zhao Tianan to say that. Didn't his younger brother just touch Ma Xiaofeng? Could it be that he wanted to go back on his word now, and not be responsible for Ma Xiaofeng? Seeing Zhao Ping looking at him strangely, Zhao Tianan pursed his lips and explained to Zhao Ping, Big sis, Xiaofeng and I are in the past. It's impossible for us to be together now. So you don't have to worry about me. And you don't have to help me ask Xiaofeng out. Tianan, what are you saying? Zhao Ping couldn't help but frown and ask, her face full of unhappiness. Zhao Tianan thought that Zhao Ping was so angry because she had a good relationship with Ma Xiaofeng. Big sis, I know that you and Xiaofeng are good friends, but I really can't be with Xiaofeng now. He wanted to marry Mu Hin. Even if Qian Chuanxiu said that she didn't want the 50 taels of silver as a betrothal gift, he couldn't be with Ma Xiaofeng anymore. As a man, he had to be clear about his responsibilities. If he didn't marry Mu Hin this time, he would only harm Mu Hin for the rest of her life. Zhao Ping stared at Zhao Tianan with her eyes wide open. She started scolding Zhao Tianan. Tianan, you're too heartless. To think that Xiaofeng likes you. Chapter 1249. After Zhao Ping finished speaking, Zhao Tianan sighed deeply. He had no way to tell Zhao Ping about his helplessness. Liking someone and being with her were two different things. After all, there were too many obstacles between him and Ma Xiaofeng. Previously, it was because of Qian Chuanxiu. Now it was because he touched Mu Hin. Seeing that Zhao Tianan did not speak, Zhao Ping was even more certain that Zhao Tianan did not want to take responsibility. He really had a change of heart. Zhao Ping could not help but reprimand him. Tianan, let me tell you, you can't do this. Even if you're not with Xiaofeng now, you have to be with Xiaofeng. After all, you touched her body and tarnished her innocence. If you don't marry her, you'll be in for it later. Just wait and see how she'll make a fuss. After Zhao Ping finished speaking, Zhao Tianan's brows were tightly knitted together. Big sister, what are you saying? When did I touch Xiaofeng's body? It's fine if you say that to me, but don't ruin Xiaofeng's innocence. Zhao Tianan said very seriously. This was the first time he was so angry with Zhao Ping. Tianan, why are you like this? I'm not talking nonsense. Didn't you say today that you went to the back of the mountain and bumped into Xiaofeng? Could it be that you didn't make a move on her and did that thing? Zhao Ping asked. After hearing Zhao Ping's words, Zhao Tianan immediately realized that something was wrong. Why would Zhao Ping say something like this for no reason? It must be because of something. Then he thought about how he had suddenly acted out of sorts today. When he attacked Mu Hin, it was as if he had been drugged. Before that, it was Zhao Ping who brought him tea and eagerly persuaded him to drink it. Then, it was Zhao Ping who informed him that Liang Jinxiao had fallen on the back of the mountain. Zhao Tianan more or less guessed that Zhao Ping must have done something to him. Big sister, what did you make me drink today? Zhao Tianan asked coldly. Zhao Ping was stunned. Seeing Zhao Tianan's calm face, she felt a little worried. Well, actually it's nothing. Zhao Ping replied weakly. He didn't dare to let Zhao Tianan know. Otherwise, Zhao Tianan would make a fuss with him. Big sister, you are my biological sister. How can you do this? I know it must have been you. Otherwise I wouldn't have. Zhao Tianan didn't know what to say to Zhao Ping. He had never seen his biological sister, who cheated him like this. Zhao Tianan guessed that Zhao Ping wanted him to be with Ma Xiaofeng, so she came up with this countermeasure. If he had really run into Ma Xiaofeng today, then he naturally had to be responsible for Ma Xiaofeng. Seeing that she had been exposed by Zhao Tianan, Zhao Ping simply didn't hide it. Tianan, big sister can't bear to see you and Xiaofeng in conflict. Anyway, you touched Xiaofeng, so Xiaofeng has to be with you. It's good that you two are married. Tianan, don't tell big sister that you didn't. Big sister gave you an aphrodisiac. You must have touched a woman for the drug to be effective, so you must have touched Xiaofeng. Zhao Tianan suddenly couldn't describe how he felt in his heart. It turned out that everything that had happened today was Zhao Ping's scheme. If they hadn't suddenly run into Mu Hin, his sister's goal would have been achieved. Big sister, I didn't lie. I didn't touch Xiaofeng. You little brat, how can you lie? You still say you didn't lie. Big sister sees that you don't want to take responsibility. This is too much. Zhao Ping shouted and scolded him. Chapter 1250. How could Zhao Ping believe Zhao Tianan's words? If he was drugged with an aphrodisiac, wouldn't he die if there was no woman to help him get rid of it? Why did Zhao Tianan seem to be fine now? Tianan, tell me, how did you come into contact with the aphrodisiac? Zhao Ping asked Zhao Tianan. Zhao Tianan was a little impatient. He knew that if he didn't tell her today, Zhao Ping would keep asking him. So he replied, Sister, the person I touched was Mu Hin, not Xiaofeng. Since I have to take responsibility, then I can only take responsibility for Mu Hin. I'll go talk to mother and ask her to go to Mu Hin's house to propose marriage. After hearing Zhao Tianan's words, Zhao Ping was suddenly stunned. She looked at Zhao Tianan in disbelief. What? You touched Mu Hin, that be *tch? What was going on? Could it be that before he met Ma Xiaofeng, her brother met Mu Hin first? If that was the case, then Zhao Tianan could only be with Mu Hin. Zhao Ping kept muttering in her heart. It's over, it's over. How could there be such an unlucky thing? Not only did she not help, but she also made things worse. Zhao Tianan didn't want to talk to Zhao Ping anymore, so he rushed directly into the room of the third branch. Sister, since I've explained it, if there's nothing else, I'll go and talk to mother first. This matter really had to be discussed with Liang Jinxiao. It couldn't be delayed. Otherwise, Mu Hin wouldn't be angry, and he had to give the girl an explanation. Liang Jinxiao was very happy to know what had happened just now. Compared to Ma Xiaofeng, Liang Jinxiao preferred Mu Hin. After all, Mu Hin was hardworking and sensible. She was a suitable candidate for a daughter-in-law. If Zhao Tianan married Mu Hin, the family could live a happy life together without worrying too much. But if he married Ma Xiaofeng, Qian Chuanxiu alone would have a lot of trouble. Liang Jinxiao smiled and agreed to Zhao Tianan's suggestion. All right, Tianan. Mother will discuss this with your father later and get this done. Zhao Tianan nodded heavily. Yes, mother, thank you for your hard work. Haha, it's fine. It's not hard at all. Father and mother are willing to work hard for your marriage. Liang Jinxiao's face was full of joy. The people's families, after all, the countryside people. S. Feng's family. Xiao. S. Mother's is mother. SSSSS family, S. Mother's is. Seeing that Feng Zhangxiao was already a grandmother, Liang Jinxiao was very envious of her. Seeing that Zhao Tianhu's marriage was almost settled, and that her Tiananzess was also going to be married, old Zhao's family was really full of happy events this year. This was something that had never happened before. Which family could arrange so many things in a year? Not only did they have to marry a daughter-in-law, but they also had to marry off their daughter. On the other hand, after Zhao Yin'er returned home, she hurriedly boiled some hot water and prepared to take a bath. She was sweating profusely and felt very uncomfortable. At this moment, she felt sticky all over again. It was an indescribable feeling. Dauda, are you still hungry? Zhao Yin'er asked. She thought that if Dauda was hungry, she would cook something for Dauda to eat. Dauda shook his head. Mother, Dauda isn't hungry. It's good that you're not hungry. If you're hungry, you can come and find Mother again, okay? Chapter 1251. After Daudu had fallen into the water last time, Zhao Yin'er was worried that something similar would happen to Daudu again. As a result, she did not want Daudu to go to the riverbank. If something happened to Daudu again, Zhao Yin'er would not know what to do. During this period of time, Mu Lianfeng had taught Daudu a few ways to swim when he had nothing to do. Daudu had pretty much learned it. Even if he really did fall into the water, he would be able to save himself. Only then did Zhao Yin'er allow Daudu to go to the riverbank. However, whenever Daudu went, Zhao Yin'er would remind Daudu to be careful. Go. Come back when you're done playing. Be careful. Don't fall into the water. Yes. Mother, Daudu understands. Don't worry. All right. Then go. With Zhao Tianfu by her side, Zhao Yin'er felt a little more at ease. Once the two children had caught enough lobsters, they could cook them a dish when they came back at night. Zhao Yin'er gulped when she thought about the taste of the lobsters. The water in the pot was ready. Just when Zhao Yin'er was about to take the water for a bath, someone rushed in from outside. It was none other than Mo Yen. Zhao Yin'er was puzzled. Mo Yen should know that Mu Lianfeng had returned to the young master's estate. Was she here for Mu Lianfeng? Madam. Mo Yen ran over while panting. Zhao Yin'er frowned. She thought that something big had happened, so she asked Mo Yen. Slow down and catch your breath. Speak slowly. Madam, I've come to ask for your help. Can you help me with something? Zhao Yin'er said in a hurry when she saw how worried Mo Yen was. Just tell me what you need. There's no need to be embarrassed. If I can help, I definitely will. Mo Yen looked at Zhao Yin'er gratefully. Miss Yin'er, it's actually nothing much. I just need you to make a few dishes. Zhao Yin'er asked in confusion. You eat? Mo Yen waved her hand in a hurry. No. How would he dare? If his master knew that he ordered Zhao Yin'er to cook for him, he would definitely peel off a layer of his skin. Then who do you want me to cook for? Mo Yen frowned. She had no idea what to say. After all, that person's identity. He would only dare to say it when his master returned and confirmed whether he could tell Zhao Yin'er. Otherwise, who would dare to say anything? Madam, it's a very important person. I have to treat him well, or he'll get you into trouble if he gets angry. Mo Yen replied vaguely. She still did not reveal the person's identity. Zhao Yin'er knew Mo Yen's difficulties, so she did not ask in detail. All right then. Wait a moment. I'll do it right away. Mo Yen nodded happily. All right, madam. I'll wait for you. Once you're done, I'll send you over. Sigh, it's all because the food on the mountain is just too bad. It's hard to swallow, or it wouldn't be like this. Zhao Yin'er's lips twitched. She guessed that it was probably another important person. Since she had to treat him well, she obviously could not make two shabby dishes. Fortunately, she had prepared some dishes at home. She had not eaten the black fish she had caught 2 days ago, so she could make a dish of black fish with pickled vegetables today. Moreover, there were eggs and vegetables at home. It should be enough to eat. Chapter 1252. Emoyin nodded in a hurry. All right. Madam, I'll wait for you. All right. Zhao Yin'er turned around and entered the kitchen. She picked up the black fish and began to cook. Zhao Yin'er's knife skills were all right but not great. She could slice the fish into thin slices. She had made the pickled vegetables before, and they just happened to be ready for the next few days. They came in handy now. Apart from the pickled vegetables and the black fish, Zhao Yin'er also prepared scrambled eggs with green peppers, cucumber salad, and tofu soup with vegetables. Before long, the heavy fragrance of food wafted out from the kitchen. It made Emoyin sniff heavily. She really wanted to eat. However, these dishes were for the important people waiting on the mountain. She could not eat them herself. In less than an hour, Zhao Yin'er finished cooking. She packed them into a lunchbox and passed it to Emoyin. All right, it's done. You can send it over, said Zhao Yin'er. Emoyin thanked Zhao Yin'er gratefully. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. I'll be off then. Zhao Yin'er smiled. You're welcome. Be careful on the way. If you want to eat my food, you can come over tonight and have a meal with me. Emoyin was obviously more than happy to hear that. How could she turn down that? She giggled at Zhao Yin'er. All right, madam. I'll come over tonight. His master had left today anyway, so his master would not know if he was freeloading at Zhao Yin'er's place. Originally, he did not think much of it, but he could not help himself when he smelled the fragrance of Zhao Yin'er's food. Be careful on the way. Don't rush. Yep. All right. Zhao Yin'er's lips curled into a smile as she watched Emoyin depart. This subordinate of Mu Lianfeng really was rather cute. After dealing with Emoyin, Zhao Yin'er took a bath in a hurry. After washing up, he felt much more comfortable. In the afternoon, Zhao Yin'er rested at home for a while, then went to the foot of the mountain to find a place to plant tea. Although she had taken a fancy to that barren mountain, she didn't want to buy it with Madame Chi's scheming and cheating. But there had to be a place to grow tea leaves, so they had to find another suitable place. Fortunately, Shuilan village was close to the mountains. If they really wanted to open up a place, it wouldn't be difficult. Zhao Yin'er searched for a while and found a piece of land. However, it was slightly further away from the Shuilan village. It took more than 10 minutes to get there. Moreover, there were more trees in this area. If they wanted to use it to grow tea leaves, they would have to cut down all the trees on the mountain, which would take a lot of effort. It was not as easy to manage as a barren mountain. Looking at it now, it would be even better if they could get that piece of barren land from the Qi family. If they couldn't, they could only make do with this piece of land. Zhao Yin'er wandered around and prepared to go back. Suddenly, on the way back, they passed by a forest and saw two figures. One of them was actually rather familiar. Zhao Yin'er hurriedly hid behind a tree and looked in their direction. After looking carefully, she recognized the familiar figure. It was actually young Master Huang. Zhao Yin'er found it strange. How did young Master Huang come here? Zhao Yin'er was not far from the two of them, so she heard what they said clearly. Young Master Huang asked, did he do anything unruly during this period of time? Chapter 1253. The other man in black, who seemed to be in his 30s, replied, Are you sure you haven't contacted anyone from the Prime Minister's side? Young Master Huang asked. No, young Master Shitzi spends most of his time in the village and rarely interacts with the outside world. Oh right. Young Master Shitzi often lives with a girl from the village. I've investigated that girl, and she has a clean background. She was born and raised in Shuilan village. Young Master Shitzi also cares a lot about her, and there's nothing unusual about her. It seems that young Master Shitzi is not disloyal to you. Young Master Huang frowned and fell silent after hearing the man in black's words. If that's the case, then someone must have framed young Master Shitzi. Fortunately, he had sent someone to investigate in secret. Otherwise, he would have lost one of his men for nothing. Young Master Huang then said to the man in black, All right, I understand. Keep an eye on him later. If anything happens, report to me immediately. Yes. The man in black replied solemnly. Zhao Yun, who was hiding behind a tree, was very confused when she heard this. So it had something to do with Mu Lianfeng. Judging from their conversation, young Master Huang must have sent this man in black to secretly keep an eye on Mu Lianfeng. She didn't know who young Master Huang was, and what his purpose was. She also didn't know if these two people would cause any harm to Mu Lianfeng. As Zhao Yun'er was thinking about these questions, she accidentally fell down from a nearby tree branch and made a creaking sound. Young Master Huang and the man in black, who were not far away, heard it. Who is it? A cold voice sounded, carrying a hint of danger. Zhao Yun'er knew that she had been discovered, and it was too late for her to escape. She simply pretended that she was just passing by, and didn't hear their conversation. Ouch! Zhao Yun'er sat on the ground and cried out. Young Master Huang and the man in black walked towards Zhao Yun'er. Young Master Huang's eyes revealed a trace of surprise when he saw Zhao Yun'er on the ground. Miss Yin, or why are you here? Young Master Huang blurted out. Zhao Yun'er looked at young Master Huang and pretended to be surprised. She said to young Master Huang, Yes, young Master Huang. What a coincidence. Aren't you in the county minister's residence? Why are you here? Young Master Huang met with Zhao Yun's puzzled eyes. He didn't explain. I have something to do, so I came here. Miss Yun'er, what about you? Zhao Yun'er said, Master Huang, my family lives in Shuilan village. I came to the mountain to pick some wild vegetables. I didn't expect to accidentally sprain my ankle. After saying that, Zhao Yun'er's pair of jade hands rubbed her ankles. Hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, young Master Huang felt that Zhao Yun'er must have happened to pass by and did not hear the conversation between him and the black-clothed man. Miss Yun'er, do your feet hurt? Can you walk? Do you want me to help you? Young Master Huang asked with concern. Will it trouble you? Young Master Huang smiled and said, It's okay. I'm fine. There's no one on the mountain. Miss Yun'er, it's hard for you to go back alone, right? Why don't I help you? Zhao Yun'er didn't refuse young Master Huang's offer. She responded, All right, young Master Huang, I'll have to trouble you. Fortunately, I met you. Otherwise, I won't be able to meet anyone on this mountain. Chapter 1254. Lord Huang replied politely, then helped Zhao Yun'er up from the ground. Zhao Yun'er tried her best to pretend that she was just passing by and didn't hear a thing. However, the black-clothed man at the side kept staring at her with a burning gaze, unable to shift his gaze away. Zhao Yun'er's forehead was covered with a layer of cold sweat. She was very nervous and scared. Although Lord Huang didn't look like a bad guy, Zhao Yun'er didn't know what kind of person he was. Most importantly, Lord Huang had sent someone to spy on Mu Lianfeng. If he wasn't on the same side as Mu Lianfeng, he wouldn't be her friend. He could only be her enemy. If these two people knew that she had overheard their conversation, who knew if they would kill her to silence her? At this moment, Zhao Yun'er tried her best to pretend that she hadn't heard anything. She would tell Mu Lianfeng what had happened today when Mu Lianfeng came back. Because Lord Huang had known Zhao Yun'er for a while, he was quite familiar with Zhao Yun'er, so they chatted casually on the way. I didn't know that Miss Yun'er lives in this village. I just came out to have a walk today. I didn't expect that I would meet Miss Yun'er. It must be fate. Zhao Yun'er smiled. Yeah, it means that we're destined to meet. Where is Miss Yun'er's house? Zhao Yun'er pointed at a small shabby house not far from the foot of the mountain. My house is over there. Lord Huang was struck dumb for a second when he saw the shabby house. There was sympathy in his eyes. Miss Yun'er's house. What's wrong with my house? Lord Huang pursed his lips. He thought about what he was going to say, in case he said something wrong and upset Zhao Yun'er. Miss Yun'er, your house looks very old. Is it comfortable for you to live in such a house? I don't think it's safe either. The entire house was on the verge of collapse. A slight gust of wind or a heavy downpour would probably cause the house to collapse, right? Lord Huang knew that the villagers were poor, but Zhao Yun'er's house was the most shabby one compared with the villagers. Zhao Yun'er thought that Lord Huang was going to say something else. She smiled. It's fine. Haven't you heard that a mountain is famous not because of its height? Water is famous not because of its depth. It may be a shabby house, but because of its virtue. Hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, both Lord Huang and the man in black were struck dumb for a second. It seemed that they couldn't believe that Zhao Yun'er, a young woman from the countryside, had said those words. Young Master Huang purposely repeated Zhao Yun'er's words to himself. He felt that he had read a lot of poems, but he had never heard the poems that Zhao Yun'er had recited before. The man in black, on the other hand, thought that Zhao Yun'er wasn't ordinary at all. He had been wondering why Lord Huang would fall in love with a young woman from the countryside. Now it seemed that this young woman was indeed outstanding. Miss Yun'er is right, but it would be better if you could live in a better house, said Lord Huang. He cared about Zhao Yun'er very much. Chapter 1255. After hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, young Master Huang felt relieved. Seeing young Master Huang's concern for her and treating her as a friend, Zhao Yun'er sighed in her heart. She hoped that young Master Huang was not a bad person. If young Master Huang and Mu Lianfeng were on opposite sides, Zhao Yun'er would naturally be on Mu Lianfeng's side. When the time came, she might fall out with young Master Huang. It would be difficult for her to be in the middle. When young Master Huang sent Zhao Yun'er home, he inevitably met some women in the village. These people were not fond of seeing others happy. When they saw Zhao Yun'er and young Master Huang together, young Master Huang supported Zhao Yun'er and felt that it was too intimate. Thus, they began to gossip about Zhao Yun'er. If you ask me, the most seductive person in the village is Zhao Yun'er. Isn't that so? What kind of qualifications does she have? She seduced young Master Shitzi. Young Master Shitzi just left, and she already hooked up with another man. Look at the clothes of this man in yellow. He doesn't seem to be ordinary. He must be a big shot. Tisk tsk. I can only say that Yun'er has the ability to hook up with such a big shot. Look at us. Even if we tried to hook up with him, he would probably ignore us. We'd better inform young Master Shitzi. Otherwise, young Master Shitzi will be deceived by this B***th. Yes, we can't let this B***th eat from the bowl and think about the pot. The women gathered together and discussed what to say to Mu Lianfeng. If it was only one person who said it, Mu Lianfeng would definitely not believe it. However, with so many of them testifying to each other, Mu Lianfeng would naturally believe it. The matrons all liked to join in the fun. Recently, old Zhao's family had many happy events. When they saw it, they were very jealous. Thus, they wanted to play tricks on Zhao Ping-er and ruin it. Otherwise, Zhao Yun'er would probably really become the heir consort in the future. Zhao Yun'er didn't know that there was such a scheme behind her back. Young Master Huang sent Zhao Yun'er back to Zhao Yun'er's house. Zhao Yun'er did not ask him to stay. She thought that young Master Huang was going back to the county magistrate's mansion. She did not expect that young Master Huang would go to the mountain. Zhao Yun'er fell into deep thought as she watched young Master Huang leave. Along the way, the man in black couldn't help but say to young Master Huang, "Master, there's something I don't know if I should say. If you have something to say, say it. Why are you being so secretive? Master, that girl just now, you recognize her, right?" Young Master Huang replied. "Master, that girl is the woman that Lord Shitzi has taken a fancy to. He has taken a fancy to her." Young Master Huang's eyes were filled with curiosity. The man in black explained. He was talking about Zhao Yun'er just now. Young Master Huang was silent when he heard that. His eyebrows furrowed. Zhao Yun'er didn't stay at home for long before Mulan rushed over. Seeing that Mulan was out of breath, Zhao Yun'er hurriedly said, "Sister-in-law Mulan, slow down. Don't rush." Mulan nodded and stood in Zhao Yun'er's house. She was panting heavily, but there was a hint of joy on her face. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but be curious. What could make Mulan so happy? "What's wrong, sister-in-law Mulan?" Zhao Yun'er asked. Mulan beamed with joy and said to Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, we might be in-laws." Chapter 1256. Mulan, we're going to be in-laws. How are we going to be in-laws? Could it be that you've taken a fancy to my Daodu and want to betroth your heir Hua to my Daodu? Zhao Yun'er thought for a moment and asked in surprise. After all, in ancient times, There were many betrothal arrangements between children. If two families were on good terms, they would arrange a marriage for their children. Upon hearing Zhao Yiner's words, Mulan couldn't help but chuckle. She was amused by Zhao Yiner. I say, Yiner, you're too interesting. What are you thinking in that head of yours? Your Daodu is the little heir. My heir Hua is out of your league. That's not what I'm talking about. Then, sister-in-law Mulan, which one are you talking about? How are we going to be in-laws? Zhao Yiner asked. Mulan patted her own mouth and hurriedly explained. I'm wrong. Yiner, it's not that we're going to be in-laws. It's that our family and your father's family are going to be in-laws. What? Zhao Yiner still didn't know what Mulan wanted to say. She was completely confused. Mulan was also very anxious to explain. Hey Yiner, it's like this. Mulan decided to speak slowly. She was an impatient person. Once she was happy, she didn't know what to say. Sister-in-law Mulan, speak slowly. I'm listening. Mulan poured a glass of water on Zhao Yiner's table and swallowed it. Then she explained. Yiner, Mu-hin went back this afternoon. I saw her face was red, so I hurriedly asked her about the situation. This child didn't say anything. She secretly took off her clothes and washed them. There were still some red bloodstains on them. She didn't walk much. I look like I've already done it. However, she didn't want to tell me. I was worried and thought that someone had bullied her. I hurried to ask her, and she finally told me. Yiner, guess what it is? Zhao Yiner frowned. She thought for a moment and shook her head. I don't know. Sister Mulan, what's the reason? Yiner, Mu-hin said that he did it with Tianan. Zhao Yiner was stunned. You did that thing with Tianan? That's right. Mulan nodded her head heavily. If it had been someone else, Mulan might have had some objections. But when she thought of Zhao Tianan, Mulan felt that it was a good idea. After all, Zhao Tianan was a reliable man. As his sister, she wouldn't have to suffer if she followed Zhao Tianan. As for why the two of them did it, it was probably because they were in love and couldn't help it. Her sister also said that Zhao Tianan would be responsible for her. So she didn't have to worry about anything. As long as the two families got married as soon as possible, everything would be fine. Yiner, tell me, isn't this great news? If we become in-laws with your family, I'll be very happy. After all, it's not easy for my sister to find a reliable man. At her age, she should be thinking about marriage. After listening to Mu-hin's explanation, Zhao Yiner finally understood what was going on. It seemed that Zhao Tianan had really given up on Ma Xiaofeng and got together with Mu-hin. Seeing this result, Zhao Yiner was naturally happy. Compared to Ma Xiaofeng, Mu-hin was much better. It was good that Zhao Tianan could repent in time and jump out. This way, they wouldn't be poisoned by Ma Xiaofeng in the future, and their family would be tormented by Ma Xiaofeng. Chapter 1257. With Zhao Yiner's words, Mulan felt a lot more at ease. She was still a little afraid that Zhao Tianan did not really want to be in charge. Men were creatures of the lower half of their bodies. What they said might not be reliable. It would only count if they really did it. Yiner, since you said that, we'll have to discuss it with your parents later. Mulan said. Zhao Yiner patted Mulan. Don't worry, sister-in-law Mulan. Leave it to me. Yes. I'll also take care of my family. If we really hold the wedding earlier, we can also prepare some things for Mu-hin. Now that Mu-hin was living with Mulan, since they could not rely on the Mu family, as the elder sister, she naturally had to make sure that her younger sister's wedding was grand. She could not let Mu-hin suffer. Fortunately, the conditions were better now. She could prepare the things that needed to be prepared for Mu-hin's wedding. Sister-in-law Mulan, look at you. You're even happier than when you're marrying your own daughter. Zhao Yiner could not help but tease her. Mulan smiled shyly. Her reaction was indeed a little exaggerated. However, she could not suppress the excitement in her heart, so she acted like this. Of course, the most important thing was that she liked Zhao Yiner and her family. If she were to marry someone else, she would not necessarily be so happy. I only have one younger sister, Mu-hin. Isn't it just like how I treat my own daughter? Mulan said with a smile. While they were talking, Liang Jinxiao also found Zhao Yiner. He was just about to discuss the marriage between Zhao Tianan and Mu-hin with Zhao Yiner. Unexpectedly, Mulan was also there. The three women just happened to gather together and chatter. Without a doubt, everyone was very happy and looked forward to this marriage. After some discussion, they felt that it was very appropriate to hold a wedding for Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin, after Zhao Yiner's house was built. After all, by that time, Zhao Yiner's family would have a new house with a lot of rooms. They would be able to spare a wedding room for Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin. Then, they would hold a grand wedding, and both families would be happy. It wouldn't take long for Zhao Yiner's house to be finished, so there was no need to rush. In any case, the two families had already discussed it, so there was nothing to worry about. After the discussion, Liang Jinxiao left. Zhao Yin prepared to go to Mulan's house with Mulan. She had run out of soap at home. It would be too late to make more soap now. Therefore, she wanted to go to Mulan's house to get some and see Mu Hin. Mulan didn't refuse. Zhao Yin was at home anyway. Anyway, there was nothing to do, so there was no harm in going to her house. The two of them walked in the direction of Mulan's house together. When they arrived at Mulan's house, Mu Hin stayed in the house and didn't come out. As a girl, it was inevitable that she would be a little shy when experiencing this kind of thing for the first time. She hid in the house and was too embarrassed to come out to meet people. Zhao Yin had just gone to Mulan's yard, and Madame Qi was busy in the yard. Her youngest son changed a lot of diapers every day, and no one helped her wash them. She had to wash them herself. She had to cook, do housework, and take care of the child. Every day, Madame Qi was so tired that she couldn't bear it. As soon as she saw Zhao Yin coming over, Madame Qi immediately became excited. She quickly put down the work in her hands and excitedly went up to Zhao Yin and asked, "Zhao Yin, are you here to buy the Barren Mountain? We can discuss the price again. I'll give you a discount." Chapter 1258. She replied faintly to Madame Qi, "Sorry, you're thinking too much. I don't intend to buy your Barren Mountain." When Madame Qi heard this, she immediately became anxious. "I say, Zhao Yin, if you can't find any other land, can't you just sell it to me for some money? What else do you want?" Previously, when Zhao Yin said that she didn't want it, she still had hope in her heart that Zhao Yin would eventually come back to buy it from her. However, after waiting for Zhao Yin for a while, Zhao Yin didn't come back at all. Today, when Zhao Yin came to her place again, Madame Qi thought that she wanted to buy it, but she didn't expect that she wouldn't buy it. Now she didn't know what to do. So what if you don't want it? You just don't want to buy it. Since you like it, you can guard it yourself. Why do you want us to buy it? Zhao Yin couldn't help but reply, "You." Madame Qi glared angrily at Zhao Yin, not knowing what to say. She sat back on the stool and kept muttering in her heart, "It's over, it's over." It seems that Zhao Yin really doesn't want to buy it. She couldn't sell the Barren Mountain that she bought with 5 taels of silver. 5 taels of silver wasn't a small amount. Zhu Danius said that if she lost 5 taels of silver, she would be rented to someone else as a wife and earn back the 5 taels of silver. In ancient times, many poor families couldn't find a wife, but wanted to continue the family line, so they would spend some money to rent someone else's wife. When the time came and the child was born, the woman would be sent back. But this method was very sinful for women. Basically, the woman who was rented out would not be welcomed in her husband's family when she returned home. And most importantly, she would be looked down upon. When the time came, the rumors in the village would be enough for her to suffer. No matter what, Madame Qi thought that she couldn't go down such a path. The problem now was that Zhao Yin didn't want to buy it, and no one would buy it. It would be difficult to get back the 5 taels of silver. Madame Qi was a little anxious and didn't know what to do. From the looks of it, she had to be thick-skinned and talk to Li Zheng about it. She wanted Li Zheng to take back this piece of wasteland and return her money. Otherwise, she would be rented out by Zhu Daniu. Zhao Yin stole a glance at Madame Qi and couldn't help but gloat in her heart. Zhao Yin was still thinking about the wasteland in Madame Qi's hands. If she didn't feel bad about what Madame Qi had done and wanted her to suffer a little, if he bought it for 5 taels of silver, he wouldn't have to go to the foot of the mountain to cultivate it. After all, It was troublesome to hire people to reclaim the land. Now Zhao Yun'er was just waiting for the Qi family to be desperate and beg her to buy it. Then she would give a lower price and take advantage of the Qi family. Mulan went into the house and took out the soap for Zhao Yun'er. Yun'er, come, this is for you. I don't have much left at home. I have to get some later. Otherwise, I won't have enough to wash the clothes, Mulan said. Zhao Yun'er nodded. Okay, sister-in-law Mulan, call me when you go. I'll go too. Mulan waved her hand and said, It's okay, no need. Yun'er, you're busy every day. I'll get some soap for you. It's not a big deal anyway. Okay. Thank you, sister-in-law Mulan. Zhao Yun'er didn't refuse and agreed. It's okay, you don't have to be polite with me. It's not a big deal. Mulan replied indifferently. After getting the soap, Zhao Yun'er prepared to see Mu Hin. Chapter 1259. It was probably her first time doing it, so she was not feeling well and was resting now. Zhao Yun'er glanced at Mu Hin, afraid that Mu Hin would be embarrassed. Xin, are you still in pain? Mulan went forward and asked with concern. Hearing Mulan's voice, Mu Hin said shyly, Sis, I'm fine. It's normal for it to hurt for the first time. I'll boil some hot water for you to wash later. Mu Hin responded. She was still very shy and did not know how to respond to Mulan. Faced with Mulan's straightforwardness, Zhao Yun'er smiled and said to Mulan, Sister-in-law Mulan, don't harp on this matter. Otherwise, Mu Hin will be embarrassed. Don't you think so? Look at my brain, I didn't think of this. Sigh, it's all my fault. Xin, you should rest first. I'm going to work. Mulan wanted to leave the house quickly, so that Mu Hin could have some peace and quiet. Hearing that Mulan was going to work, Mu Hin quickly jumped out of bed and wanted to help Mulan. Sis, I'll go too. No need. Xin, you can just rest. Anyway, there's nothing to do. I can do it alone. Sis. Mu Hin's cheeks blushed slightly. I told you to rest, so you should rest. Don't push me. Mu Hin sighed. Alright then, sis. If you encounter any difficulties, you have to tell me. I know. Zhao Yun'er did not stay at Mulan's house for long. She went back first. She had not washed the clothes that she had changed out of after the shower. She would wash them later, so that she could save them for tomorrow. Ma Xiaofeng was in the same situation as Mu Hin. This was the first time someone had done it to her, so her lower body was in great pain. Lu San wasn't gentle at all. He didn't pay attention when he was doing it, and his lower body moved a lot. Therefore, Ma Xiaofeng's lower body was injured. At this moment, he felt that his thing was a little swollen and painful. It was extremely uncomfortable. However, there was nothing she could do. She couldn't tell anyone about this. She couldn't even tell her mother about it. If she did, not only would her mother not care about her, she would even scold her to death. Ma Xiaofeng dragged her painful body back home. When she arrived at the courtyard, she found that the door of her house was tightly shut. However, when they got closer, they heard a moaning sound coming from inside. Ma Xiaofeng leaned closer to listen. It was her mother. It wasn't that Ma Xiaofeng hadn't encountered this before, so she knew exactly what the people inside were doing. She sighed softly in her heart. Her mother was doing dirty things with Zhao Wenshui again. She really couldn't do anything about her mother, but she couldn't say anything either. It was broad daylight. If someone came to the door and heard the commotion in her house, gossip would spread, and their house would be slandered to death. The house was closed, so Ma Xiaofeng couldn't go in. She could only wait in the courtyard. She would only go in when her mother and Zhao Wenshui were done. In the house, Zhao Wenshui was panting as he did it with Qian Chuanxiu. After they finished pleasurably, Qian Chuanxiu reminded Zhao Wenshui, Zhao Wenshui, you have to remember what you promised me. If you can't do it this time, don't think of looking for me again. Zhao Wenshui immediately agreed. Don't worry. Since you promised, you'll definitely keep your promise. I'll go back and talk to my mother. I'm 80% sure that you can't do it, but I'll steal it at night. I'll send it to you after I steal it. You have to give me some time. I'll only do it at night. Chapter 1260. Okay. Don't worry. You're my precious baby. Why would I lie to you? Zhao Wenshui smiled wretchedly with a wretched expression on his face. Qian Chuanxiu pursed her lips and said to Zhao Wenshui, Okay. Don't talk nonsense in front of me. Get the thing to me first. Weren't you like this before? You swore in front of me that you would do it. But then you couldn't even fart. Zhao Wenshui, you tricked me once. Don't even think about tricking me a second time. I know. Then I'll go back now. Okay, you can go back. Be careful, and see if there's anyone around. If there's no one, then get out. Qian Chuanxiu exhorted. She was afraid that someone would see them. No matter what, she and Zhao Wenshui were having an affair. The people in the village were the most shameless, and would not allow it. I know. I'm not that stupid, Zhao Wenshui replied. Okay, Qian Chuanxiu responded. She watched as Zhao Wenshui secretly opened the door and went out. She sat on the bed and tidied up her clothes unhurriedly. She was helpless. If she had a choice, she would not like a man like Zhao Wenshui. There was nothing good about him. Even when it came to sex, he was not as good as Ma Xiaofeng's father. Fortunately, Zhao Wenshui seemed to be better this time. He could last a little longer. The previous few times, Zhao Wenshui could not last more than a few minutes. This time, he could last for more than 10 minutes. It made her feel good. Otherwise, she would have complained. After Zhao Wenshui left for a while, Ma Xiaofeng entered the room. Qian Chuanxiu had already tidied up her clothes. Seeing Ma Xiaofeng come in, she angrily questioned her. I say, you wretched girl. Where did you run off to for the entire afternoon? She doesn't even do the chores at home anymore. Looks like she's learned to slack off just like Zhao Ping, The corner of Ma Xiaofeng's mouth twitched, and a trace of grievance appeared in her eyes. If she didn't leave, how could her mother and Zhao Wenshui do such dirty things so conveniently? Originally, he had been wronged and was very sad. Once he came back, he was caught by Qian Chuanxiu and scolded. It would be strange if he felt comfortable in his heart. Mother, it's not like I don't want to do it. I didn't do any work at home. How can you accuse me of being lazy? Ma Xiaofeng retorted. She couldn't hold it in anymore. Qian Chuanxiu was infuriated when she heard that. You wretched girl, you're still being stubborn. Mother, I'm just telling the truth. How am I lazy? Other girls definitely don't have as much work as I do. Ma Xiaofeng felt uncomfortable and continued to say, if it were any other day, she wouldn't dare to argue with Qian Chuanxiu like this. All right, you wretched girl. Watch how I deal with you. As Qian Chuanxiu spoke, she picked up the broom beside her and hit Ma Xiaofeng's body. Ah, it hurts, Ma Xiaofeng shouted. She didn't know if it was because of the pain from Qian Chuanxiu's hit, or because her lower body hurt. In any case, her whole body hurt. As she shouted, the grievance in her heart made Ma Xiaofeng burst into tears. Why was she so pitiful? Forget that her father died when she was young. Qian Chuanxiu raised her, and Qian Chuanxiu didn't treat her well. She only had her younger brother in her heart. Chapter 1261. If it weren't for the 50 taels of silver that her mother asked for as a gift, Zhao Tianan wouldn't have backed out. After all, she and Zhao Tianan were still on good terms before. If it weren't for her mother's words, it was likely that Mu Hin wouldn't have been able to come between her and Zhao Tianan. Now everything was too late. Zhao Tianan and Mu Hin were together, so it was absolutely impossible for him to be with her. He was also ruined by Lu San. When the time came, even if she got married, she was afraid that it would be difficult for her to get married. Therefore, all of this was her mother's fault. Her mother was the bad person, the instigator. If she lived a miserable life in the future, it would be all because of her mother. The more she thought about this, the more Ma Xiaofeng's tears flowed down. Whoa! Seeing Ma Xiaofeng cry, Qian Chuanxiu suddenly froze. You wretched girl, what are you crying for? I haven't punished you yet, but you're crying so hard. Qian Chuanxiu scolded angrily. However, Ma Xiaofeng still continued to cry, as if she was very sad. Qian Chuanxiu, who originally wanted to continue to hit Ma Xiaofeng, stopped the movement of her hands and questioned Ma Xiaofeng. I say, you wretched girl, why are you still crying so hard? Didn't I just lightly hit you a few times? You make it seem like I did something to you. Ma Xiaofeng ignored Qian Chuanxiu and just sobbed hard. Qian Chuanxiu was really helpless, so she had to coax. Okay, you wretched girl, stop crying. Mother won't hit you anymore, okay? Qian Chuanxiu looked at Ma Xiaofeng and was really helpless. She had said all kinds of good and bad words. But Ma Xiaofeng still didn't listen to her. There was nothing she could do. I say, Xiaofeng, what's wrong with you? Can you say something to mother? Whoa, mother, What are you talking about? Tell me quickly. Are you trying to kill me? Qian Chuanxiu hurriedly urged. Ma Xiaofeng thought for a while. Should she tell Qian Chuanxiu about Lu San? Looking into Qian Chuanxiu's eyes, Ma Xiaofeng found that Qian Chuanxiu was looking at her with concern. It seemed that Qian Chuanxiu still cared about her daughter. Ma Xiaofeng felt that if she didn't say it out loud and kept it in her heart, she would definitely feel uncomfortable. If Nian Qian Chuanxiu couldn't be trusted, then the others couldn't be trusted either. She didn't have any solution now. If she told Qian Chuanxiu, maybe Qian Chuanxiu could help her think of a solution. Ma Xiaofeng choked and asked Qian Chuanxiu, Mother, if I tell you, will you hit me or scold me? I'll only tell you if you don't hit me or scold me. Qian Chuanxiu was so anxious that she had no choice but to agree quickly. Okay. Tell me. Mother won't scold you or hit you, okay? After hearing Qian Chuanxiu's promise, Ma Xiaofeng felt relieved and told Qian Chuanxiu the truth. Mother, I was bullied by Lu San. When Qian Chuanxiu heard the two words Lu San come out of Ma Xiaofeng's mouth, she knew that it wasn't anything good. After all, Lu San was a rascal in the village. He always bullied young ladies and young wives. Who knew how many people had been tormented by Lu San? Not to mention a young lady like Ma Xiaofeng. Even a woman of her age would be afraid when she saw Lu San. This was because Lu San didn't care about age when he picked people to bully. As long as it was a good-looking woman, he would hit her. Chapter 1262. Mother, I was bullied like that. Ma Xiaofeng's face instantly turned red. She was so embarrassed that she didn't know what to say. Qian Chuanxiu asked anxiously, What do you mean by like that? What exactly is it like? Ma Xiaofeng's words were vague. She didn't know the extent of bullying. Kissing and touching was bullying. Doing that thing was also bullying. The degree of bullying was different, and the consequences were completely different. If it was just kissing and touching, it was just teasing. Since she didn't lose a piece of flesh, she would forget about it and act as if nothing had happened. However, if she was caught by Lu San doing that, the situation would be completely different. Speaking of which, it was really a little serious. After all, a woman's chastity was ruined. It was a major event that would affect her marriage in the future. A woman who wasn't a virgin, to put it bluntly, was unclean. Usually, men with slightly better conditions wouldn't want her. Mother, sob. Ma Xiaofeng couldn't say anything and started crying. After sobbing for a while, she said to Qian Chuanxiu, Mother, it's just, I was pressed down and got down there. Qian Chuanxiu's mind went blank for a moment. She opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but she didn't know where to start. After a few seconds, she patted her thigh and started crying. Why is my life so tragic? Her man died at a young age, and it wasn't easy for her to raise her daughter. She originally wanted to get a sum of money from her daughter. Now, after being ruined by Lu San, it was already good enough that her daughter could get married. How could she still think about other people's money? Mother, sob. Seeing that Qian Chuanxiu was crying so miserably, Ma Xiaofeng started crying as well. She couldn't comfort Qian Chuanxiu, nor could she comfort herself. This matter was still too big of a blow to her. After Qian Chuanxiu finished crying, she rushed straight to the kitchen. Ma Xiaofeng hurriedly followed, wondering what Qian Chuanxiu was going to do. Qian Chuanxiu took a kitchen knife from the kitchen and rushed out angrily. Ma Xiaofeng quickly asked, Mother, where are you going? Qian Chuanxiu was so angry that her face turned pale. There was a fierce look in her eyes as she replied to Ma Xiaofeng, What for? Of course, he had to settle the score with Lu San. My innocent daughter has been defiled by him. Shouldn't you at least give me an explanation? Otherwise, I'll definitely chop him into pieces. Hearing Qian Chuanxiu's words, Ma Xiaofeng cried and begged, "Mother, don't go, please don't go. If you go, I'm sure everyone will know that I did that. How am I going to live in the future?" Qian Chuanxiu calmed down a little. As the saying goes, don't wash your dirty linen in public. Ma Xiaofeng was telling the truth. Ma Xiaofeng continued to persuade her. "Mother, no one knows that I was bullied by Lu San. If we keep it a secret, everyone will probably think that I'm innocent. If we settle the score with Lu San, no one will dare to come to our house to propose marriage. I'm afraid that I won't be able to get married for the rest of my life." Qian Chuanxiu sighed deeply. "That won't do. Are we going to let Lu San off just like that? Mother, what else can we do? How many people in the village did he bully? Who exposed this matter again? Isn't everything fine now? Mother, help me think of another way. What should I do now?" Ma Xiaofeng looked pleadingly at Qian Chuanxiu. Chapter 1263. She had to think of a way. Ma Xiaofeng had been bullied by Lu San. Even if she went to Lu San, she probably wouldn't be able to get anything out of it. After all, Lu San was a pauper and couldn't take out much money at all. Even if she killed Lu San, it wouldn't do their family any good. Instead, it would let people know that her Xiaofeng had been defiled by Lu San. Okay, then mother won't go. I have to think of other ways. Xiaofeng, weren't you and that Zhao Tianan good before? Can't you let him be with you? Mother, I have no contact with him anymore. Don't talk about him. Ma Xiaofeng lowered her head and suppressed her anger. Her mother was really. Everything was fine before. But she didn't think of Zhao Tianan. Now that she messed up, she thought of Zhao Tianan. However, it didn't make any sense now. There was no hope for her to be with Zhao Tianan. Xiaofeng, you can only find someone with good conditions. How long has it been? Could it be that he has a change of heart for you? Mother, isn't this all your fault? If you hadn't asked him for the 50 taels of silver, I guess I would be living with him now. Today's things wouldn't have happened. Qian Chuanxiu's heart was also annoyed. Xiaofeng, mother didn't know at that time. If I had known that something like this would happen today, who would have asked him for the 50 taels of silver? How about this, you go and talk to Zhao Tianan first. Just say that I don't want the 50 taels of silver as a gift. See what he says. If I give him a daughter for no reason, he won't say anything, right? Qian Chuanxiu wasn't really so generous that she was willing to give up the gift money. But she knew very well that with Ma Xiaofeng's current situation, it would be difficult for her to get the gift money even if she married someone else. She might as well marry Zhao Tianan. At any rate, Zhao Tianan's family conditions were good. When Ma Xiaofeng married him, she might be able to send some things back to her family from time to time. She could be considered to have made a profit. Ma Xiaofeng didn't know what Zhao Tianan would say if she didn't even want the money. In any case, she had to try no matter what. At worst, she could just pretend to be pitiful and beg Zhao Tianan. As long as Zhao Tianan still had some nostalgia for her in his heart, he couldn't bear to see her too miserable. Mother, then I'll talk about it later. If it really doesn't work, then there's no other way. Ma Xiaofeng said in a deep voice. Qian Chuanxiu continued to sigh. She was worried about Ma Xiaofeng. He always felt uneasy, as if something big and troublesome would happen later. She was also thinking that she was too unlucky. Otherwise, with Ma Xiaofeng's appearance, she would definitely be able to find a good matchmaker in the surrounding villages. Even if she couldn't get 50 taels of silver as the gift money, 10 taels of silver or so would be easy to get. As for now, Qian Chuanxiu sighed heavily and put down the kitchen knife in her hand. Facing Ma Xiaofeng, she didn't dare to speak too harshly. Thinking about it, her daughter had suffered a big blow today. If she spoke too harshly, Ma Xiaofeng would take things too hard and kill herself or jump into the river. Then she would lose a daughter for no reason. No matter what, she was a piece of flesh that fell from her own body. It would be a lie to say that she didn't feel any heartache. She had raised her daughter with great difficulty. When she was old, she definitely couldn't count on her son. More or less, she would need Ma Xiaofeng to help her shoulder the burden. Chapter 1264. Okay, Xiaofeng, don't cry. Since it happened, there's nothing we can do about it. Go and rest. Mother will boil some water for you to wash. Qian Chuanxiu said gently to Ma Xiaofeng. Since it was her first time doing it, her body must be dirty and painful down there, so she had to soak in hot water. It was Ma Xiaofeng's first time seeing Qian Chuanxiu like this, and she was slightly touched. Mother. Okay. Ma Xiaofeng responded. Ai. Qian Chuanxiu sighed again, then went into the kitchen and began to boil water. Qian Chuanxiu was hoping that Zhao Wenshui could really bring something for her to eat. Her Xiaofeng's body needed to be nourished and recuperated. Otherwise, Ma Xiaofeng's body might not be able to take it because of her sadness. At night, Qian Chuanxiu saw that Zhao Wenshui didn't come over for a long time. Because Zhao Wenshui wasn't reliable, she knew that he couldn't bring anything good, so she went to sleep. But in the middle of the night, there was a knock on the door. Hearing the noise, Qian Chuanxiu opened the door. It was Zhao Wenshui standing outside. Qian Chuanxiu was instantly delighted. She was yawning, but after seeing Zhao Wenshui, she immediately became energetic. Qian Chuanxiu smiled and asked, Zhao Wenshui, did you bring something here? Did you get it? Zhao Wenshui quickly responded, I got it. It's all meat. Hearing Zhao Wenshui say that it was all meat, Qian Chuanxiu was even happier. That's good. Quick. Coming quickly. Okay. Zhao Wenshui responded eagerly and followed Qian Chuanxiu into the house. Zhao Wenshui took out 2 big packets of yellow oil paper from his sleeves. The yellow oil paper contained the meat dishes stolen from old Zhao's house. He opened the yellow oil paper and took a look. There were some braised pork and some steamed meat. These were all good stuff. How could the villagers eat such good food on a normal day? It would be amazing if there were a few drops of sesame oil in the food. Qian Chuanxiu leaned closer to take a sniff. A fragrant smell came to her face, and she couldn't help but swallow her saliva. It's all meat. Just looking at it makes me drool. Zhao Wenshui, you are really capable this time. Qian Chuanxiu praised Zhao Wenshui. Zhao Wenshui smiled proudly. Of course. Since I've promised, I'll definitely deliver it to you. Qian Chuanxiu threw a coquettish glance at Zhao Wenshui. Not bad, Zhao Wenshui, you've done one thing. As soon as Qian Chuanxiu finished speaking, Zhao Wenshui leaned over wretchedly and hugged Qian Chuanxiu. He blew into Qian Chuanxiu's ear and said flirtatiously, Since I've done this, shouldn't you reward me? Qian Chuanxiu naturally knew what the reward Zhao Wenshui was talking about was. She glared at Zhao Wenshui coquettishly. That's enough. Don't be naughty in front of me. The 2 children are sleeping in the house. If we make any noise, they will definitely wake up. Zhao Wenshui continued to hug Qian Chuanxiu shamelessly and begged, That's okay. Let's be gentle. You're really something. Why are you in such a hurry? It's not like you don't have other opportunities. It's the middle of the night, and the 2 children are at home. It's not convenient. Come over tomorrow. Qian Chuanxiu said seriously. Chapter 1265. Okay. I'll come back tomorrow. Zhao Wenshui murmured as he stared at Qian Chuanxiu with his lustful eyes. No matter how he looked at Qian Chuanxiu, he felt that Qian Chuanxiu was much prettier than his wife. Qian Chuanxiu's face was very delicate, and her facial features were very beautiful. Okay, I'll come back tomorrow. Qian Chuanxiu said hurriedly. Before leaving, Zhao Wenshui pulled Qian Chuanxiu and said to her, how about a kiss? Looking into Zhao Wenshui's expectant eyes, Qian Chuanxiu couldn't refuse. She twitched the corner of her mouth and said to Zhao Wenshui, Okay, hurry up. Don't be too slow. Okay. Zhao Wenshui answered happily and quickly kissed Qian Chuanxiu's face. Then he turned around and went back happily. Qian Chuanxiu originally planned to go back to sleep, but she couldn't sleep because of the meat on the table. She wanted to taste it quickly, so she took 2 plates of meat to the kitchen and reheated them in the middle of the night. Not long after, a fragrant smell wafted out of the kitchen. She didn't believe it before, but now she finally believed it. Old Zhao's banquet this time was really good. Let's not talk about other dishes. Qian Chuanxiu tasted the 2 dishes that Zhao Wenshui sent over, and exclaimed that she had never eaten such delicious food. After eating, Qian Chuanxiu hurriedly asked her 2 children to get up and eat. The 2 plates of meat were eaten clean by the 3 of them. Qian Chuanxiu thought to herself that she should ask Zhao Wenshui to get more. She hadn't eaten enough yet. The next day, Zhao Yin'er continued to go up the mountain to pick tea. There were a lot of tea leaves stored at home, about 20 kilograms. With so many tea leaves, she had to continue to sell them. She had to go to the county magistrate's mansion and ask about the situation when she was free. She couldn't expect the county magistrate to bring news to her. After all, the county magistrate was busy with many things on weekdays. Helping her to promote the tea leaves was a great help to her. Zhao Yin'er spent the entire morning picking tea leaves. When it was close to noon, Mu Lianfeng returned from Yang City. He did not spend too much time in the crown prince's residence. She only stayed for a day. She didn't know why old Madame Mu let Mu Lianfeng go so easily. When Zhao Yin'er saw Mu Lianfeng, she found that Mu Lianfeng had a sullen face and looked very unhappy. Something unpleasant must have happened in Yang City. Zhao Yin'er hurriedly asked, Mu Lianfeng, what's wrong with you? You seem to have a lot on your mind. Did you encounter something troublesome? Speaking of this, Mu Lianfeng sighed and didn't say anything. He just held Zhao Yin'er tightly in his arms. Zhao Yin'er was even more worried and hurriedly asked, Mu Lianfeng, what's wrong? Can you tell me about it? He didn't even give her an explanation. She was really anxious. Yin'er, what if I implicate you in the future? Mu Lianfeng asked in a low voice. Zhao Yin'er was puzzled. She didn't know why Mu Lianfeng suddenly said this. She continued to ask, what do you mean by implicating me in the future? What can you implicate me in? Mu Lianfeng, could it be that His Majesty is making things difficult for you and punishing you for something? Mu Lianfeng shook his head. It has nothing to do with His Majesty, but... Chapter 1266. This marriage was between Mu Lianfeng and Morong Shuang, Mu Lianfeng's cousin. The Morong family and Imperial Consort Hua's family had been friends for generations. Morong Shuang and Imperial Consort Hua were cousins. Imperial Consort Hua's birth mother was Morong Shuang's aunt. This time, the marriage between Morong Shuang and Mu Lianfeng, Imperial Consort Hua's relationship was used to grant the marriage. The reason for this was that Mu Lianfeng's attitude towards Morong Shuang was too cold, so Morong Shuang went to extremes. Since the marriage was granted, Mu Lianfeng had to marry Morong Shuang unless he disobeyed the imperial edict. Mu Lianfeng received the imperial edict when he went back this time. He was very upset. He didn't like Morong Shuang, and he didn't like being tied to Morong Shuang in this way. According to old Madame Mu, she was happy to do so. She kept persuading Mu Lianfeng to marry Morong Shuang. However, Mu Lianfeng didn't agree no matter what. He was determined not to give in. This time, he made a big fuss and left the young lord's mansion. Even if he disobeyed the imperial edict, even if he displeased Imperial Consort Hua, even if he was severely punished in the future, Mu Lianfeng still wanted to insist. After all, he only had Zhao Yin'er in his heart. If he wanted to marry someone, he would only marry Zhao Yin'er. After hearing Mu Lianfeng's bitterness, Zhao Yin'er was silent for a moment. She was puzzled. She didn't offend anyone. How did she offend Imperial Consort Hua? Now that she thought about it, it probably had something to do with Morong Shuang. If it wasn't Morong Shuang who made tit for tat and asked someone to stir up trouble at her breakfast stall, who could it be? It couldn't be Imperial Consort Hua, who was far away in the capital, could it? Zhao Yin'er believed in her heart that a person like Imperial Concubine Hua would definitely disdain to bother with her. After all, she was just a little woman in the countryside. She had nothing to do with Imperial Consort Hua. This Morong Shuang, Zhao Yin'er gritted her teeth. Since she dared to steal her man, she would have to see if she would let her. Mu Lianfeng, what will happen if you defy the decree? No matter what, Zhao Yin'er's first consideration was Mu Lianfeng's situation. She couldn't let Mu Lianfeng lose his life for her, right? Mu Lianfeng said in a low voice. At most, I'll be stripped of my title and suffer some physical pain. I think I can still keep my life. When Zhao Yun'er heard Mu Lianfeng say that his title would be removed, she thought that the situation was really serious. If Mu Lianfeng gave up his status as the heir apparent, Zhao Yun'er would feel that it was a pity. She was not greedy for power, but she felt that Mu Lianfeng had sacrificed too much to be with her. In ancient times, what people valued the most was wealth. Mu Lianfeng was an honorable man. Even if he gave up, he couldn't possibly stay in the countryside and farm with her. Wouldn't that be too oppressive for Mu Lianfeng? Mu Lianfeng, can you find a way to get the best of both worlds? Zhao Yun'er asked with a frown. In her heart, she didn't want to give Mu Lianfeng to Morong Shuang. But she also didn't want Mu Lianfeng to suffer. A way to get the best of both worlds. Mu Lianfeng thought about it. It was probably impossible to ask Imperial Consort Hua for help, unless he asked the Emperor for help. However, with the Hua family's influence, Mu Lianfeng wasn't sure if the Emperor would give up on him, because of the Hua family's influence. You can try to talk to the Emperor, but I'm not sure if it will work, Mu Lianfeng said. The Emperor? Yes. Mu Lianfeng nodded. Then do you have to rush to the capital? Chapter 1267. Now he could only rely on this method. No matter what, Mu Lianfeng thought that he had to try. If he succeeded, he would not be afraid of offending Imperial Consort Hua. Although the Emperor did not have much real power, the Imperial Edict was still more powerful than the Imperial Edict of the Empress. Okay, but there's no hurry. Let's take a rest today and go tomorrow. Mu Lianfeng nodded and let go of Zhao Yun'er reluctantly. He whispered in Zhao Yun'er's ear, Yun'er, don't worry. No matter what, the only woman in my heart is you. The only woman I want to marry is you. This sentence seemed to be Mu Lianfeng's promise to Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er answered, Okay. Mu Lianfeng, I believe in you. Okay. After Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun'er lingered for a while, they hurried to the mountain. He wanted to settle the matters on the mountain, so that he could leave for the capital tomorrow. Otherwise, Mu Lianfeng would not be at ease if he did not tell her anything. There were many things on the mountain. It would be difficult for Mo Yen to deal with them alone. Zhao Yun'er went to old Zhao's house. She was going to help Liang Jinxiao take care of the food for old Zhao's family. As soon as they arrived at old Zhao's courtyard, they heard the quarrel in the courtyard. Because at noon, old Zhao's family found that there was much less meat, especially steamed meat. It was too little. After eating last night, Hua Chunhua checked the leftovers. Now that she looked at them again, she could tell that something was wrong. She shouted in the courtyard. She was shouting at the people of old Zhao's family. Who the hell is it? Come out and eat the food in the kitchen. Aren't you afraid of being stuffed to death after eating so much steamed meat? How shameless. How dare you do such a sneaky thing? If I catch you later, I'll tear you apart. Hua Chunhua scolded and spat out saliva from her mouth. Old Zhao's daughters-in-law were trembling with fear. Seeing Hua Chunhua's fierce look, they knew that they would be in trouble later. After all, if Hua Chunhua was in a bad mood, they would suffer with her. Hua Chunhua stood and scolded for a day. Feng Zhangxia came to Hua Chunhua and said to Hua Chunhua, Mother, we were full last night, and we were not hungry. Why did you steal the food in the kitchen? Don't you think so? Hua Chunhua snorted. You didn't steal it? Then tell me, could it be that the meat in the kitchen grew wings and flew away? Feng Zhangxia pursed her lips and continued to explain. Mother, what are you talking about? Think about it. There are so many leftovers. Anyway, we can eat as much as we want on the table. You didn't say anything. Why didn't you eat it at the table? Why did you steal it in the kitchen every day? When Hua Chunhua heard this, she fell silent for a moment. Her eyes turned, and she felt that Feng Zhangxia's words made some sense. She nodded and said, Eldest daughter-in-law, what you said makes sense. Then can you explain to me who stole our leftovers? I checked it last night. There's no mistake. Feng Zhangxia thought for a moment. Hua Chunhua said, Mother, did a mouse or a cat steal the food? Chapter 1268. Feng Zhangxia was silent for a moment. She thought about it and agreed. The cupboards were all locked, so cats, dogs, and mice couldn't open them. It was impossible for cats, dogs, and mice to steal the food. However, Hua Chunhua would be suspicious of them if they said that the food was eaten by humans. She would probably nag nonstop. However, Feng Zhangxia was clear that it had nothing to do with her. Mother, I don't know. Anyway, it wasn't our first branch who stole it. Feng Zhangxia began to clear her name. Then who stole it? Damn it. Which heartless bastard stole all the vegetables? If I catch him, I'll skin him alive. Hua Chunhua swore. After scolding, Hua Chunhua still felt uneasy, because she didn't know who stole the food. What if he wasn't caught, and the food in the kitchen was stolen again? Hearing Hua Chunhua's nagging, Feng Zhangxia's eyes turned. She moved closer to Hua Chunhua, and said to Hua Chunhua, Mother, do you think it was second brother who stole it? I think he stole money last time. I don't know if he's doing it again this time. Feng Zhangxia said this on a whim. If she said this to Zhao Wenshui, it would be better if they could separate from the family, if they had a conflict. After Feng Zhangxia finished her words, Hua Chunhua thought about it, and felt that it was really possible. After all, Zhao Wenshui had a criminal record. He stole money. It was possible that he stole some food. Li Chuiying heard Feng Zhangxia's words. He scolded Feng Zhangxia. Sister-in-law, what nonsense are you talking about? What do you mean my Wenshui stole it? Tell me which eye of yours saw it. If you didn't see it, don't talk nonsense and accuse others. Li Chuiying glared at Feng Zhangxia. This sister-in-law of hers must have said a lot of bad things about the second branch on a daily basis. When Feng Zhangxia mentioned it in front of Hua Chunhua, a lot of things could happen. Feng Zhangxia probably contributed a lot to Hua Chunhua's dislike of her. Being heard by Li Chuiying on the spot, Feng Zhangxia couldn't defend herself even if she wanted to. Her expression changed slightly and she said to Li Chuiying, I say, second sister-in-law, I didn't say anything wrong. It's like this. Second brother has this old habit. It's normal for him to do it again. After all, no one in the other branches would do this kind of thing. Feng Zhangxia's words almost angered Li Chuiying to death. Her sister-in-law was too much. She was so angry. Wasn't it obvious that she wanted to put the blame on the second branch? No one could stand such treatment, and Li Chuiying was no exception. She almost fought with Feng Zhangxia. Sister-in-law, you're too much. Did you eat *T in your mouth? You like to talk nonsense. Li Chuiying said angrily. When did I go too far? When did I talk nonsense? Second sister-in-law, then tell me, who stole our family's vegetables? Feng Zhangxia also became angry. She thought of Shen Panner's words. The fiercer they quarreled, the bigger the trouble, and the more likely it was that they would have to split from the family. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.